Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sugar-Free League. This time around, we got Team Fish Taco Supreme versus Imperial Knights Black. And tonight, I'm joined by Smacks. And, well, we've got an interesting band phase so far. Lee Sin, Zoe Senna all taken away alongside Talia, Yumi, and then a third one coming in just a second here for the Knights. But say hello to the people, Smacks.
Hello, everyone. I am, I'm here making my my casting debut for this season at least. Here, I've done a couple casts with SFL before, and yeah, I'm back for this one. If you're looking in the server, I do have AKM in my name, but I'm not a player. I'm on the coaching staff, so uh, there's no like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, we've set locked in here on the blue team so far. Gonna be starting that one up right away, and Wukong and Ornn locked in immediately following that for the Imperial Knights here.
Yeah, it seemed like insta-lock. First pick set into Wukong Ornn, immediate response here. And then we get a Felios Tom, so looks like a bot lane response. You'd assume this would be a bot lane Aphelios and Tom Kench here. And then Ornn, most likely top Wukong mid, or perhaps we'll see one of those guys go into the jungle there. But now Imperial Knights, they can't match the bot lane as they only have one pick here. What are you looking for? Are you going for jungler or just trying to take half your bot lane?
Well, yeah, it's very disjointed here, you know, because we've got they're locking the misfortune immediately. I was gonna say that you look for a support because Taric is available. I think that champion is completely bonkers, but they do not go that direction. It is going to be the misfortune instead. Just taking that power pick so they don't get it banned away. But it does leave them vulnerable to support bans now. Leona being the first of those, perhaps another one. I would like to see the Taric ban myself. I think that champion is really good.
All right, well, Taric, maybe the pick. We'll see what they decide to go with here. I'm feeling like if you're the Knights, you have a very strong team fight with this Wukong or Misfortune. So Taric makes a lot of sense. Kind of double down on that style of play. Like, why not go for it? It makes a lot of sense to me, given the situation. You know, and I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go for it. But they're looking at the Nautilus here, so even more team fight CC.
Yeah, I like the Nautilus into the Tahm Kench specifically. It's quite nice because even if you do eat someone in Tahm Kench, if you get hooked by the Nautilus, you're still in the oven as far as the Nautilus crowd control goes, and Misfortune can continue wailing on you. So I like that pick specifically into the Tahm Kench for the most part. Although if you do hook the Aphelios, it's still pretty nice for the Tahm Kench to be able to scoop them up. So it's going to be on TFT to make sure that they don't fall prey to the hook here, as the Graves is going to be locked in for the jungle. Hovering the Katarina, perhaps going to go into the mid lane with that one. Definitely off meta, more of a comfort pick here, maybe for BBM, but he's still got time to lock in something else if he does so choose.
Yeah, so we have, well, looks like a last minute switch to the Orianna. Graves, though, I mean, this is a lot of physical damage. Orianna really the only AP on this team. So potential for the Ornn to stack some armor in the Nautilus as well. If the Orianna, doesn't have too good of a laning phase. But obviously, if she does, then you have a real conundrum on your hands of, like, do we get MR to try and deal with a fed Orianna and then, like, sacrifice the 3 other damage sources? Definitely create some interesting scenarios in terms of build paths here. But it looks like Azir gonna need the pick for the Imperial Knights, and they will lock it in here. So very strong team fight on the side of Imperial Knights. I mean, they have some of the best ultimates in the game, I feel like. And the new and improved Wukong, one of the best champions, I feel like, around alongside the set that was first picked here by Team Fish Taco. So I really like where this team comp goes for Imperial Knights. Seems like a very simplistic composition to play around here. Whereas on the other side for Team Fish Taco, it feels a little bit more complex to me because they're not as straightforward if we're just going to team fight all the time.
Right, and it seems like this would be the perfect game to go for that side lane set build that's been rising in popularity. The Blade of the Ring King Black Cleaver build seems like that could be pretty effective here against the Ornn, especially if it is Ornn in the top lane. Of course, can be Ornn jungle. That is a very flexible champion, but we do see the Wukong on that team as well. So it's really just on Imperial Knights to decide where they do want those champions to be flexing in those two roles, because I don't really think you can flex anyone else unless you're going for something crazy off meta like Nautilus jungle or something like that. But not really expecting that strategy to come out here, especially against the Graves, as he can just power farm throughout this entire game and really be that physical damage menace in the melee champions of the blue team here with the set and the Graves. They've got a ton of sustained physical damage through that.
And one of the things we saw yesterday on the Friday broadcast was a very, very quick 2-0, a very decisive early game. And that was one of the things that made it really hard to play out a sort of a scaling competition or a team that wants to sort of, duke it out later on. And we saw 2 games of Zir and 2 losses. Obviously, Zir's a solid champion, but he does have his weaknesses. And to me, while the team fight seems really incredible for Team Fish Taco, and they're not like crazy scaling or anything like this, but the Graves having his power farming sort of stage and being really strong in the mid game, and Tom Kench's map pressure, is that where you see the opening for the side of Team Fish Taco? Because it feels like in a true 5v5 it's hard to win, but if they're able to kind of outmaneuver on the map, do you think that's where they find their openings against the Knights?
I would certainly say so here because, like I said before, the on-hit set build that's been rising in popularity is going to be pretty nice here, especially because it does look to be the Ornn as his lane opponent. But yeah, it's going to be on them to split the map here if possible. They don't really have any early plays that they can make because they do have the Graves jungle, and he usually just wants to farm up as much as possible. So they're going to have to play quite defensive, I imagine, especially in this bot lane, as they do already know that, of course. They do have the Tom Kench to really sustain through that lane, but the Wukong on the other team is going to be something that TFT really do have to take into consideration and play more defensive with, because with the newly buffed ultimate, you can just get completely 100-0'd by that Wukong. It's not any burst as much as it used to be with the lethality, but being this bruiser with more crowd control than he used to have, it's very threatening still as a squishy champion like the Aphelios or even the Graves here.
Yeah, I was really thinking of like the mid-game mobility of Tom Kench and his ultimate, combined with that set side lane pressure was where I was thinking like the sort of power would come in, not necessarily like the first couple levels, because yeah, Graves does want to get a few levels down before he really, and especially like getting those early items really important for him. But we shall see where this one goes. Obviously, very, very powerful ultimates from the Imperial Knights, like we talked about. Really good team fight here, but we'll see how Team Fish Taco play against that, because it's always hard. If you get engaged on here, it could get pretty messy pretty quickly, so we'll see how they can dodge and engage. But any predictions going into game number 1? Who do you think is going to take this one? Do you think there's a big advantage based on draft, or do you just feel maybe one team's better equipped than another one?
Yeah, I do think that Imperial Knights do have the advantage when it comes to the draft. I'm excited to see how they do work around the Wukong. I personally have been having a lot more success putting Wukong in the top lane rather than the jungle, so excited to see if they know something that I don't here. But yeah, like you were talking about with the big team fighting ultimates, most notably the Ornn and the Wukong, I'm really looking at Imperial Knights as being the team that's going to be able to win these fights and really just kind of play that standard 5v5 play style to close it out.
All right, well, that will take a short break. Be back for game number 1 in just a couple minutes here, so stick around. Team Fish Taco versus Imperial Knights Black coming up in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Game number 1, Team Fish Taco Supreme versus Imperial and Knights Black here. Smack's joining us for this cast, and, well, it doesn't seem like we got an invade level 1, but definitely excited for this matchup. Had a bit of a quick one on Friday, a clean 2-0, but we'll see with these guys. Maybe you can put up a bit of more of a fight, a bit of a longer series for us.
Yeah, very exciting matchup yesterday. Was watching a couple of the personal streams as well. Of course, Aether had their match rescheduled. Pretty quick games in that series as well. Some bangers. Got to see Papi Chulo playing the Riven, just shredded through people on that one. But for this time in the top lane, no such luck for Riven. We've got the classic set in the Ornn, just punching each other to bits up there. No swords, no nothing, just a hammer and some fists.
Kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah.
Why no swords? We need guns and swords and spears. Speaking of spears, Callista top, is that anything we're going to see ever, or is no one going to pick that one up in the Sugar Free League?
Well, they might. I mean, it seems to be making waves in many pro leagues here. It's definitely a high risk, high reward play style, of course, as you're playing a range champion that doesn't provide too much for team fights, but it is what I would consider to be the premier lane bully in the top lane, and sometimes in the mid lane as well. So maybe if that's a play style that you're looking to become really good at and try to just get the enemy top laner out of that lane, then maybe that is the champion for you.
Alrighty, well, for now we're going to see set Orange for another 100 games, and then maybe something else will come along here. But in the jungle, we do get that new Wukong who just isn't really doing anything too crazy with the pathing right now. He's going towards the bot side, and Graves doing red Krugs, and looks like he's just playing the full clear towards his top side, so nothing crazy in the jungle just yet, but maybe Wukong will look for a gank down bot lane, especially with that Nautilus there. Maybe that's where he's planning on going, but with the Tahm Kench, always tough to get ganks off. So we'll see if they can play around that.
Interestingly enough, I think Blue is going for both the blue buff and the Gromp at the same time there. I think that's what he was doing. Of course, the camera wasn't looking at it, but just based on where he was in the jungle, it seemed like that's what he was doing, because he did get a head start on this Gromp, so that's a cool little maneuver, I guess. We didn't actually get to see it, but he's accelerating through his jungle at a pretty nice pace, especially considering that he's against the Graves, one of the premier farming junglers in the meta right now.
Yeah, well, the E does hit multiple things. I think his W also does, so he can, he's like Zac, he has like sort of AoE abilities that can hit the blue and the Gromp at the same time. So.
Yeah. He's now going into the enemy jungle, though, trying to find the Graves or the camps, but he's not going to find either.
He might wrap around for the gank, though. He is behind them in the tri-brush. Maybe that's the play. Graves is on his crush. Here comes the gank. And, well, Tahm Kench into the trouble, dropping down the exhaust heal already used as well. And the gank good, but not good enough for a kill. Just a couple summons.
Just the exhaust used, and and the heal as well. So definitely still a gank that's going to be felt here by Team Fish Taco Supreme, but no flashes used means that they're likely still safe for another repeat gank if it does come through. So instead, we're going to go for the Scuttle Crab, and another hook does land though.
Another trade back, and now actually the Ophelia is getting some damage in. But looks like the Graves going to take advantage of this opening. Got Krugs and now the Raptors as well, and moving towards that top side shield. Wukong gets the bot side scuttle, but will be down 2 camps effectively, as the set putting a lot of damage down on this Ornn. May force the TP out. He still has a Biscuit, though, in inventory if you like to stay there, and just crafting some items as well. So, yeah, tough laning for the Ornn so far, but hopefully he can stabilize that matchup as that tank. And Wukong coming up top side, but not all his camps are gone.
And Keelan up there, he's having a rough go of things. He did not go for the refillable pot into Doran's shield buy. He did instead go for the full corrupting pot and then bought a cloth armor instead. So I imagine that is why his health is depleting a little bit quicker than normal. But he is still up in that lane, and he does remain there longer than the set. So that's at least something here. Azuki going for the first recall. He does pick up the Vamp Scepter, which means he is at least going for the Blade of the Ring King. We'll have to see if he does dedicate most of his time to the side lane, though, as that's really where the playstyle does differentiate. You can still go for this build and team fight with it, but I'm really excited to see if he does go for the split push kind of set.
Yeah, we saw Wukong top yesterday, and he went for the Blade of the Ring King in a Triforce build. as well. So a lot of these champions, really melee champions, the bruisers in the top lane, really benefiting from the Blade the Ruin King change, and really liking that one for themselves. There's just so much more damage on that item now, and you can really justify going for it, especially first item. It's just so much better now. So kind of a cool addition now to the bruiser's arsenal. As it looks like, is he starting that dragon, or is he just using it from ability? It looks like he's starting the dragon here, so kind of an ambitious start on this dragon from Wukong, but Blue thinks it's a good idea. The bot lane's here, and, well, just a little bit of a smart rotation. Gonna get them the dragon, it looks like, unless something crazy happens.
And just bring it into that river so his bot lane can approach a lot sooner than the TFT bot lane, and no Tahm Kench ultimate available quite yet, still level 4, not gonna be able to get into that pit. And as an Infernal Drake going over to Imperial, and it's quite nice. But speaking of the Wukong here, my favorite build here for the Wukong jungle has been the Cinder Hulk, because I don't think that his abilities scale too well off of bonus AD anymore, especially because his E is now an ability power ratio. They wanted to take away the bruiser aspect, or the assassin aspect of his kit, make him more of a bruiser. So they took away that AD ratio, can't go lethality anymore. I am hoping to see that he does not go for the warrior, because on that same note, I think that his AD scaling just is not very good. While the CDR is quite nice, I think the extra bulkiness of the Cinder Hulk is a lot more beneficial for a jungle.
We got a gank up top side here. Graves coming in as we have ultimates for both the top laners, and Flash is available as we're fighting half the bot lane. But looks like the Ornn with the Flash is going to be able to lock it out. So no ultimates drop down, but hey, Flash down. It's a good gank from the Graves, but no kills, no first blood yet. 7 minutes in.
Kind of a game of chicken there between these two top laners. Whoever ults first does get the short end of the stick, because if you Ornn ult, then you don't actually get the second charge of it, because you get the showstopper down, and you just cannot headbutt that ram again. So I really like that he's just going to go for the Flash instead. That makes it a very effective gank here for Heimerdiddle. Of course, you do have to get some more pressure down there now that the Flash is down, otherwise he wasn't meaning too much, but it is still a pressure gank here, and that time to make sure that Blue either has to respond or dive down in his top lane, or in the bot lane, excuse me, and against this Tahm Kench is still very tough to do so.
So we have a mid lane matchup here, which is doing very well for the Azir. Significant CS advantage there, 69 to 56 right now, which feels like a pretty decent margin at this stage of the game, 8 minutes in. And looking at the overall gold, Team Fish toggle up a little bit, but it's not a massive advantage by any means here. So just a couple hundred gold difference. I mean, it's really quite a close early game, especially considering the large CS lead in the top lane and in the jungle, really making that gold lead stand out for them here. But really, the only lane winning is just that Azir in the mid lane. So I mean, that's good news for the Knights. But these slight leads, as soon as something opens up to me, like that feels where the gold lead could start to become really concerning. Is if, hey, 1 or 2 fights go your wrong way, then you miss even more CS, that's when the gold lead really starts to take off. So while the Knights are kind of okay with the situation right now, it does feel like they're starting to slip a little bit behind the enemy team at this stage.
Especially in the side lanes here, as both are down about 10 CS, but now going for some wallops. Does get knocked into the air. It's going to be too much more. Maybe it is.
Couple more spells traded here. Boltman's coming in. Call the Forge God's gonna be dropped. Gonna find the knockup here. A lot of damage coming down from Keelan. Flash away from Azuki. Can he get out though? Looks like the Pillar gonna find the slow showstopper back here, and there it is. First blood over to the Ornn. Nicely done there by the top laner of Imperial Knights, Black Keelan, with the first blood.
Very well done here by Keelan, staying outside of the range of the showstopper the entire time. Of course, Azuki could have flashed in to cancel the Ornn ultimate, but not going to do so right there. Instead, trying to get out with his life, but cannot do so. Keelan picking up first blood on the Ornn, and exactly like you're talking about, that is going to blow the game wide open here. They have enough pressure now if they choose to use it to go for this Rift Herald, and Keelan does still have his teleport up as well. It does feel like that is what Blue and Hoodrich are going to do right now. Maybe, as they are just sitting in the jungle, maybe looking for BBM.
Playing a little bit of a cheeky game there, but BBM spots that one out, sees they're missing, sees going in. Good flash away from BBM, gonna get knocked up by Blue, but oh, Shockwave comes back. That's a lot of damage onto Blue. And now, oh my god, the double kill from the ultimate from Graves, and well, that was an amazing Shockwave, and Heimerdoodles cleans up.
Excellent play there by BBM to get out of all of the ultimates into his own safety of his turret. And then the shockwave and collateral damage coming in combination as well. Very well done and very well placed on the ultimates there for Team Fish Taco Supreme to cancel out that aggressive maneuver by Imperial Knights. And yeah, that's gonna give them the pressure on the map now that they were lacking. Of course, the teleport's coming in from Hoodrich now, so they've maybe missed their window, but the 2 kills on the Graves certainly going to accelerate the game here in favor of TFT.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, I was a little bit concerned, and then the Oregon got the solo kill. I was like, well, actually, things are looking pretty good for the Knights. And then the double kill in the mid lane swings it right back over Team Fish Taco's favor. But now we got a dragon here. It's our second dragon of the game. It's a mountain. Maybe you're going to see a bit of a contest. One is TP if he wants to come join this one. Azuki's trying to make his way down, but is getting harassed here. And now Pop's being a rock and a hard play. Showstopper, though, trying to bring him back towards his own team. Now, looks like Paul Fortune going to find a double knockup. Now, the engaged flashback out there from the Nautilus. G-Friend did not want any of that as he walked a little bit too far forward. And it looks like a lot of posturing, but no one really with a decisive engage there. And a lot of cooldowns blown onto the Dragon Go, the side of Team Fish Taco. Nice still on contest this one.
It might be a bloodbath
here. Here comes the engage. Nice job by the Orange to start things off, but a good shockwave in response here. Mount Dragon go over to the Wukong, pulling that one away. Azuki in the front line, he's going to go down, but trades his life for the Wukong. Now comes in a nice ultimate from these areas. He puts himself in a bit of a rough spot, taking a lot of damage. A good Devour going to save the Graves. Now Keelan in trouble as well, flashing away. One auto will do it, a double kill for the Aphelios, and now only Misfortune left. She's running away, should survive, but a triple kill for the Graves, or rather the Aphelios, and a massive team fight win for the side of Team Fish Taco.
Yeah, the Drake is stolen by Blue, but the defensive maneuver here by Bernard is so clutch here on the Tahm Kench, making sure that his Devours come in to save his teammates, just being that Kevlar vest in the front of his team as well, tanking up all the damage with his Guardian, with his Gray health, and they stay alive, all of them. Of course, just the set falling here by Azuki, and the Drake does go over to Imperial Knights as well, so they have the soul that perhaps they can go for later on, but they are now down a significant amount of gold, and all of it is on the Graves and the Aphelios, the 2 marksmen on the enemy team. They definitely do not want this to be snowballing on the marksmen.
Pierre with a triple kill, and Graves already with 3 kills. Heimerdoodles nicely fed, the most gold in the game by a decent margin here. And onto the Rift Herald goes Blue. It looks like this may go over. A smart rotation after coming out of base. They just rush straight to the Rift Herald, and the Knights are kind of going to get it for free because there were a bunch of resets coming in there from the side of Team Fish Tacos. They went for a turn in the mid lane, so while they were backing, the respawns were coming in for Imperial Knights. They were able to pick up that Rift Herald after they suffered some damage on their mid lane turret. So nice to get that one, but they're just dropping it straight in mid lane. This might get a couple platings, but yeah, very unlikely a turret as well.
What Imperial Knights lack in gold, they're attempting to make up for.
Decent shockwave there from BBM. Heimerdoodle's coming in, finds a bit of damage, but will not find a kill this time around. And the plating or 2 falls in the mid lane, but an underwhelming Rift Herald, to be honest.
Excellent shockwave yet again. He's 3 for 3 on those for BBM. Just grouping up the entire team of Imperial Knights Black, just dissuading the turret pressure here. Of course, the 2 plates do go over to Imperial Knights, but nothing more there with the Rift Herald usage. And like I was talking about before, they are attempting to make up for their gold deficit with the neutral objectives, but doesn't seem to be quite working out, especially because Rift Herald is just a gold investment at the end of the day, and if you can't get more than 2 turret plates, then it might not be worth it here, as they are still down about 3,500 gold as a team.
Yeah, a concerning margin here, and we're just about to reach 15 minutes, so I would say a decent lead, a very commanding lead at this stage of the game here. Still waiting for that first item completion on the Aphelios, which is going to obviously be big to pick up here. He does need a couple hundred more gold to complete that item, but he's had a nice timing, especially considering he's already got those Graves available for himself. So these 2 marksmen, right, I feel like are looking very, very scared for Team Fish Taco, as you said. And when you look at the enemy team, they don't really have a ton of defensive stats picked up yet. As I said in draft, like maybe you can stack a little bit of extra armor, but it's so early in the game that these marksmen are starting to get those first one or two items, and there's really not enough armor to sustain that damage. Keelan just sitting on parts. Doesn't have that Sunfire cape yet, so definitely concerning situation here. And, well, I feel like there's still that team fight X factor for Imperial Knights, but now that they're starting to fall a bit further behind it, as a team fighting team, they kind of have to be within a certain margin of the enemy team to even have a chance at winning a team fight just based on the stats alone.
Yeah, I would say it's far from over here for Imperial Knights. Of course, they do have the scaling advantage with the Ornn on your team. As long as you have an Ornn on your team, it usually means you scale better than the others because you just have so much more gold at the end of the game. Effective gold, of course, with your items. But the main thing I'm looking at for Imperial Knights is that they have 2 Drakes as opposed to the 0 on TFT. If they can pick this one up, then the enemy team does have to play at a soul point deficit for the remainder of the game.
The Graves going to face check a Tri-Brush, but few knockups coming in and a shutdown. Nice shockwave in response, but Wish does get that shutdown onto the Graves. Call the forward guy coming in. Finds a knockup on the BBM, but no follow-up there. I'm pretty sure they're just happy with that pick onto the Graves. Big shutdown and on the Misfortune. Very important. They got it onto her.
And a face check like that could potentially be massive for Imperial Knights here. Heimerdoodle's dead. He will spawn about 6 seconds before the Drake, but he does not walk to the Drake in 6 seconds. So Imperial Knights do have their way with that side of the map here for that period of time, as Heimerdoodle has to blink on over there. Does not even have upgraded boots. So Imperial Knights could lock this one in, and that dream scenario for them, like I was mentioning, where they do have soul points, could be in effect here as they're already knocking it down.
Yeah, well, here, the Dragon at half health, and no jungler around to try and steal this one. A little bit of a lick attempt there from the support, but Tahm Kench not going to steal this one. Turret goes down the mid lane, but now 3 Dragons on Imperial Knight side, but oh no, healing enough to flash away as the Abyssal Void comes through from the Tahm Kench. But looks like a successful Dragon take and, well, retreat from Imperial Knights. Hanging around a little bit here. Oh, flash over, Showstopper onto Wish. Big damage. Now double flashing out there from Wish and G-Friend. But it looks like they're okay. A couple ultimates blown in exchange for flashes. But hey, 3 Dragons, I feel like you're okay with that one for Imperial Knights.
I would certainly say so. They are now at Soul Point, and it's Ocean Soul as well. This does mean that if they do have that one unlocked, then the gold deficit that they are against here might be completely nullified. The healing in combat is so efficient in these fights, and yeah, they are only 1 Drake away from that. And they don't have to worry about it on the opposing team either, at least for about 20 minutes, as TFT don't even have a single Drake. So they certainly can rest a little bit easy knowing that they have the soul as a win condition and maybe do not get outscaled, although they are about to lose their 2nd turret of the game.
They lose the outer there in the bot lane. But when you bring that Ornn scaling alongside the potential for a soul, that seems very scary because, Ornn scaling is great, but if you don't get there, you don't get there, right? It takes a while to get to those items. So if the game ends early, that's a concern. But now that you have the guarantee that the enemy team is not going to get soul for at least another 20 minutes, essentially. That's a lot of time you got to sort of stall a game. BBM, though, he's not thinking about stalling out. He's trying to run away, but a lot of CC put down. Attempted a shockwave, but he goes down before that one can connect. A nice play there. Imperial Knights get the mid lane turret and a kill onto BBM.
G-Friend with impeccable lockdown with the CC, just starts it off with the depth charge, and then as BBM flashes away, locks it down with the hook. Hook, line, and sinker there. So he's hooking the wall as well, doing the Spider-Man cosplay to pick the fruits. Getting that pick is going to be very important as they do lock down the mid turret. Very important objective against control mages, as it does let them, it does open up the map against them. And when Orianna does not have just one dedicated spot that she needs to be, oftentimes you can catch her in transit as she does not have any mobility. She just has the ball that she needs to move around, similar to something like a Nivea where you have the wall and the ultimate, but teleports coming in.
Rift Herald about 4,000 HP, but it looks like we want to fight over this one here. Starting off with Moonlight Vigil, finding the down to damage on the blue, but that's going to zone him off. Rift Herald goes over the Team Fish Taco. I mean, it doesn't look like Imperial Knights want to take that fight, which at this stage of the game makes a little bit of sense. They're trying to wait it out, play it a bit smarter than just throwing their face at the enemy team. And they lose the Rift Herald for it, but if they can hold off this push, again, Rift Herald objective, that's super important. What you get off of it, but gonna be summoned here in the mid lane, trying to get this inner turret, but 3 strong here for Imperial Knights to try and stop this one. And It looks like Shelly will get at least one charge off, if not a second one.
I was looking forward to seeing if Keelan was going to recall and then teleport to that ward by the mid lane there and go for a flank, but not going to choose to do so. Instead, ushers a top wave in attempt to take that turret, I would imagine. As it is quite low, but he is going to recall for now. Does not teleport into that fight, and they're just going to sacrifice the mid turret. Of course, it is the Rift Herald push, so very tough to really overcome and defend that objective. So I would say that Imperial Knights don't have to be too worried about a play like that. They didn't lose anything astronomical right there, and as we keep saying, they are scaling. But one thing I do want to point out, and I mentioned it before, Blue did go for Warrior on the Wukong, and I am definitely disappointed in this. I think that the Cinderhulk build is a whole lot better than this.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the Wukong going for Warrior. Looks like he's going Cleaver, so he's got some health, but without Cinderhulk, without that extra health behind it, really he's not going to be very tanky. He doesn't get the stacked armor. After the Cinderhulk, and becomes really hard to kill. So this definitely does seem like a Wukong that, yeah, could open up and a team fight and put a lot of pressure on the back line, but he's going to go down really quickly, and, well, you might see it here. He's taking a lot of damage trying to get the Scuttle Crab, using the ultimate, and looks like he'll get away, but it does seem like he'll fall pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's the teaser as to what's to come here, because he did go for a more damage-oriented build. He does just have to use his ultimate in a defensive way, which, of course, as Wukong is completely not ideal at all, especially when the Drake is up in 20 seconds from now. Teleport coming in from Keelan, though. This could be a bloody fight.
Well, here we go. The turret thrown down from the Imperials. Carla Forjak coming through, trying to slow on Q, but no, Naga. Looks going to land here on the Tom Kench. In the back line goes Suzuki, finding a lot of damage, pulls in two, but will go down himself. Now G-Friend can be about a lot of time in the front line, but will go down here. Piero finds a kill to start himself onto a rampage. Keelan in the front line taking a lot of damage. He shall fall. Eventually, Piero finally knocks him down with the auto attacks. A double kill for Ophelio, so 2 for 1 so far. As top laner for top laner and support. Team Fish Taco up a little bit right now. Imperial Knights, they'll still have all of their carries up, plus this Wukong will get his ultimate back in another 20 or 30 seconds or so. Still poshing around this Dragon, and, well, decent amount of poke coming through from the Azir. Dragon gonna get started here, but it looks like no engagement through just yet. Team Taco now leaves off on a Hoodridge, gonna go through. But oh no, the bullet time, massive damage. No kills going through, but Tom Kench buying a lot of room. No health left, though, on these carries here for Team Fish Taco. And the Dragon getting low, 2,000 health. I don't know if he'll be able to finish the Wukong. He's low on health as well. Everyone's low. Going into the pit, the Smite gonna come through. It's gonna be stolen by the Graves. The team fight might go over here to Imperial Knights, though, as go up to lane on the Fellows and comes around. Double kill for the Wukong. Wish is gonna survive. I thought the Shockwave might get him, but a double kill for the support saves his AD carry.
And my goodness, there was that a nice edge of a fight. Imperial Knights do win the fight, but they don't get the prize that they were really looking for there in the Ocean Soul. It is stolen away in a clutch smite by Heimerdoodles. Blue just taken so incredibly low in the pit, just tanking it the entire time. Rest of the members of Imperial Knights not able to be in the pit and tank that one up as they were trying to just fend off the members of TFT, but it is going to be the Drake taken, and the Drake taken, and this Drake's soul salvaged by TFT, although they do lose 4 members in the fight.
Yeah, kind of not what you're expecting in that scenario. Last time we had the Wukong grab the Dragon and a lost fight for Imperial Knights. This time it's reversed. And in fact, the team fight won by the Knights, but they lose the Dragon. So kind of not what you're expecting, but creates an interesting scenario where, yeah, great you stopped the soul, but now you just gave over a ton of gold, and those board items are starting to come through. He's got a Sunfire for himself, and you know, very soon he'll be able to start helping out his teammates, get that Molten Edge and a few other items for his team. And once that comes to pass, it becomes very concerning, right? If you look at the gold lead here, it's basically dead even. And you have those Ornn items coming through. It's essentially a lead for Imperial Knights.
Yeah, and it's one of those really sticky situations for TFT as well, where that Ocean Soul, the Ocean Drake individual that they took for themselves doesn't really do them any good at all, other than just delaying the soul by another 5 minutes for Imperial Knights. So they didn't even really get any prize out of it, other than just a sigh of relief that the enemy team doesn't have this incredible buff onto all of their players. They did lose 4 members in that fight, alongside their top laner earlier as well, so it was almost an entire ace against TFT, and with a team that had the lead before that in terms of the gold, that's really not what you're looking to see here. Yeah, they are starting to be in panic mode as they've really been outscaled by the Ornn.
Well, I mean, the Aphelios still good late game, but, you know, you saw in that last team fight, besides the Orianna and the Aphelios, like, the range is pretty low, right? So you have two decent range carries, but the rest of the team has a hard time engaging. Like, the set can kind of go in, but there's no real hard engage. Like, the Graves is a low range champion. He doesn't have, like, a hard engage, like, dashing in and CCing someone. And the Orianna, she has the ball carry with a set, but there's just not really a lot of follow-up to that play, it seems like. So they kind of get outranged in terms of the bullet time wards them away, the threat of his year ultimate, as well as the Wukong and his ability to knock people up in an area twice in a row. So it just seems like they kind of get zoned away from the fight a little bit and kind of get poked out at the end, the tail end of that one, which isn't really what you'd expect against, you know, with an Orianna. But with the way this team comp is, they don't have hard engage to threaten it, and they also don't have like enough hardcore poke to really keep themselves, you know, as a threat to the enemy team around that dragon, the way that kind of panned out. So kind of a wonky scenario here, but maybe a catch as maybe gonna hook away and should be all right. But now the vision battle is gonna start around this dragon. Baron.
The Baron's been up for about 6 minutes, but it is potentially going to go down here as TFTS started up and already taken about 25% of its HP, but there is a red ward in there. Imperial Knights do know they're coming in.
Yep, TP going to come through, so it should be a true 5v5 here. Going to be dropped down, and that's already support gone there for the side of Imperial Knights. Jack, nice call. The Ford's got a lot of damage put down. Well, a big ultimate from the Wukong, and bullet time follows up. A huge play, double kill for the Misfortune, and now that's going to be an ace. A double kill as well for the other carry, the Azir. And Imperial Knights, well, they've outscaled and they've won the team fight. This should be Baron for them.
And you were talking about the lack of engage here for TFT. You know who doesn't lack engage is the team with the Ornn and the Wukong on it. They do lose their Nautilus in the fight, the beginning of it, but that just left Imperial Knights with enough time to get the Call of the Forge God and the Cyclone down. They get the Baron, they get the 5-for-1 ace. They're even going to get a turret on it before they go for the reset as well. This is going to be the full outscale. The first of many Ornn items coming down as well onto Wish. They've got another one in the tank. They want to give it to Hoodrich or Blue. They do have a choice of that, but it's looking like the late game team of Imperial Knights has finally come online, and the Drake Soul is up in 20 seconds as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a weird game to me. There was such a big lead for Team Tishako, and they had it on the people they wanted. They had the Graves and the Aphelios had a lot of gold, 3-0-3, and then a 3-0 scoreline I think for the Aphelios as well. It just seemed like they were so far ahead, and then, you know, in the light at the end of the tunnel with the Ornn seemed so far away as well, but somehow they managed to bring this game back. Dragon getting low here for the team fight breaking out, and well, Hoodrich going to find the kill onto the Graves here, and Showstopper going to come through, but Keelan just, well, with the help of Wish, is going to knock him down before the ultimate really does much of anything, and Imperial Knights find 2 kills. I don't really know what happened there, but they get the kills, they get the soul.
TFT are now in a situation where they're losing the objective and the fight at the same time.
Arrow's in trouble as well. He's going to go down before Call of the Forge God even comes through. That's another big pick. Shockwave finds a lot of people, 4 members to be exact, but there's no one there to follow up.
Yeah, that's kind of ability that you want to use while the teammates are alive, but now...
Oh, here comes the bullet time, and they're all dead.
Alright, 5-for-0 ace here for Imperial Knights. They're definitely going to take game number 1 here, and a ton of momentum with their scaling team going into game number 2 in this best of 3.
And, well, the Nexus gonna fall as well. No way that Heimerdoodles and Zuhi can defend that one. Game 1 over to Imperial Knights Black. Going back after a little bit of a rough early mid-game sort of time. You know, those couple minutes early on, it was like, well, something wasn't really going their way, but then they just kind of pulled it together. Just kept getting dragons and then won a few team fights, and all of a sudden it's like, well, no sweat, man, we've got this.
Yeah, just looking at this damage here, 3 members of Imperial Knights topping it, one of them being an Ornn, which just goes to show you how low range the team of Team Fish Taco Supreme did draft here. The highest range champion being Aphelios, not really something that you want to see, especially because he's only the highest range champion 1/5 of the time. Other than that, it's an Orianna, so yeah, this is just really nice drafting here from Imperial Knights. Of course, the early game didn't quite go their way, maybe trying to look to clean that stuff up on their side, but scaling definitely came online like they wanted to, and the team fights looked really clean from there on out.
Yep, definitely clean. Wukong actually has the least damage in the game, which is Surprising. I did not see that one coming. Nautilus had more, so did the Tom Kench. So an interesting and he went Warrior too, so he had the
Right.
AD. Very interesting that came to pass. But Nautilus supports base damage. I don't know. Well, that's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
and there was a little bit of a little bit of like a surprising win to me for Imperial Knights in terms of the way it went down. Because after they, after the third dragon, it felt like they just kind of took over the game, and it was all them from there on out. So a really like good game to sort of show the character of that team. They feel like even if they fall behind a little bit, it's not like it's game over. Sometimes teams will have that where a few things go wrong and it just nothing can go right after that. I don't know if it's just a little bit of mental thing, but definitely showed some mental fortitude there for Imperial Knights coming back in this one. A very very great, a very good game from them. But anything Team Fish Talk need to do? Was it a draft thing or was it a gameplay thing that they need to change for game number 2?
It definitely seemed like it was a little bit based on the draft. They didn't really give themselves any way of closing out the game. Of course, they did get the early game advantage here, just with some nice plays. But the late game really, they just drafted a whole bunch of secondary engaged champions. Which, if you are trying to close out this game, you do want more primary engage. I'm talking things like Jarvan in the jungle, or maybe Kled in the top lane. Those kind of things where you just have this go button where this is going to start the fight and then we can clean up from there. I think that's really something that they need, especially when you're drafting things like the Orianna that really do want someone to attach the ball to, and then you get these big shockwaves. Because BBM, his shockwaves were very impressive throughout the entire game, even when they were losing the fight. So I would really like to see TFT draft something where they can deliver the shockwaves in, or just deliver the rest of the damage from something like the 3-0 Aphelios or the 3-0 Graves on their team.
All right, well, that in mind, we'll come back in just a couple minutes for game number 2 here. Imperial Knights take game number 1, but Team Fish Taco definitely want to strike back. Welcome back, everyone. We've got the Imperial Knights Black here versus Team Fish Taco Supreme. Knights take game number 1 here. They'll be on the blue side with first pick. Looks like a similar ban phase, though, as to game 1. A lot of the same picks coming through, but of course that Ornn going to be added on after it was pretty good in game number 1.
Yeah, the Ornn, I'm definitely excited to see that on the ban list. I think that champion just skews the game to a late game situation so often. And yeah, I'm glad to see that one as an adaptation here in TFT's game plan, especially if they are wanting to go for an early game team comp, because even if you do early game and you stomp them as hard as possible, there is always that looming threat that the Ornn items will come in and just stomp you in the team fight. So I'm glad that they're banning that one away alongside the Zoe as well. And on the Knight side, they're going to go ahead and get rid of the Yuumi and the Senna as well.
Wukong also going to be taken away, which very strong champion, and that Ornn Wukong duo was just picked right after the set was first picked last game. So kind of interesting that'll be taken away. I mean, it was pretty good there. So the Knights take the set, and now without the Ornn and Wukong, what do you pick back? Because that's what the Knights did. Looks like it'll be Renekton. Maybe first. He's another champion that really benefits from the new Blade of the Rune King, especially with his auto tech resets on his W. Just puts a crazy amount of damage down, and Braum going to join him.
And leaving the Aphelios up this time for the picking if Imperial Knights do choose to go for it, and they do. They are going to hover that one as a very powerful champion, even after his relentless nerfs, honestly. But yeah, he is potentially going to be locked in here, still hovering it, so maybe thinking about it as Imperial Knights just taking their time, perhaps just thinking about their third pick as they do lock it in. Lots of power picks so far for the Imperial Knights, and it is going to be the Renekton and the Braum locked in for TFT, as you mentioned. Renekton is a pretty good matchup into set. On paper, of course, you do have the W empowerment to shred through the Haymaker shield, so that helps quite a bit in that matchup. So, going to be on Azuki to express that skill in this matchup.
Thresh being hovered, so maybe an Aphelios Thresh back. Misfortune was pretty good last game. That's open and available with the Braum. Because the Braum is so good against Misfortune, pretty good to take, as you don't have that great counter. But Lucian going to be the combo, the classic combo. Lucian Braum going to go up against this Aphelios Thresh, which seems like a pretty skillful matchup. I feel like both bot lanes can do pretty well in it if played correctly, right?
Yeah, I would definitely imagine so. If the Thresh hooks do land, then it can be pretty big for Imperial Knights. And of course, if the Braum stun hits the Aphelios and Lucian can follow up with his double shots, then that's also going to be pretty big. So could expect to see some action in the bot lane 2v2 as far as these pairings go. Well, we've yet to see the junglers though, unless it is set jungle. And as such, TFT have gone ahead and banned the Jarvan out of the picture. Cassio being hovered, I would probably just double down and start banning out these powerful junglers as TFT does get their pick of the litter first.
Yeah, so Echo banned, and now one more ban for the Knights before we go to our second pick phase here. And as you said, the jungler is yet to be picked here. Also looking at mid laners, so those are the two pools that have been sort of cut down on here. Orianna was pretty good in game number 1 alongside the Azir, so we'll see if those become important picks, but nope, the Sejuani going to be banned. So 3 junglers on the second rotation, and then Team Fish Taco maybe looking to get aggressive here with the Elise, which Renekton Elise, I mean, I guess why not go for it? Always potential for a big plays to be made.
Right, and TFT continuing their early game trend, it seems. They've got the power couple in the top jungle as far as dives go in the early game. Over at least they've got Braum Lucian for a lot of action down there, and all they're missing is something that can actively get to these fights in the mid lane. Something like a Talia. Well, that's already banned, so he can't do that one. But maybe something that can roam around like the Ari or the more skillful Aurelion Soul, perhaps. But the Gragas locked in for Imperial Knights could be the Yasuo as well. It would be blind picked into the mid lane, and it is a very bad matchup for Yasuo into the Renekton. So if they do get that flexed on them, then maybe that could be pretty tough. But Gragas Yasuo synergy is pretty good here for the Imperial Knights if they do choose to block that one in.
And you got the Thresh with the Flay. It's pretty good. But looks like Azir might be the pickup here. That'd be an interesting mid lane here. Would be kind of blind picking it. I mean, there's a lot of good things that could maybe exploit it, especially if you're doubling down on the early game strategy. I mean, Team Fish Taco can pick a lot of things that are good in the early game to really exploit this as potentially. Although, I mean, with that being said, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the easiest champion to really just destroy in the early game. But there are things to go aggressive, and if we want to go aggressive, well, Katarina is certainly one of them. Team Fish Taco gonna get spicy with the Katarina pickup, and well, I feel like they're all in. Like they either snowball or they just lose. Like I don't really see a way to win in a game that goes like 30 minutes or longer.
Yeah, that's absolutely what they're going for here with this game plan. Again, very short range on TFT, so they're just gonna look to just plow through you in the early game and see if anything sticks here. As for Imperial Knights, though, they are definitely going to be on the defense. They need to just pump the brakes and make sure that TFT cannot go for anything too aggressive and outlandish. As they do have the Azir, they do have the Thresh for the safety, and they do just want to be the control as it was in like a card games terms here. They're the control deck. TFT is the face aggro deck here.
Are you budget LS? Is that why we're referencing card games, or is like cause what's going on here? I didn't know I was signing up for
budget LS
that.
in the past. I've been called that. So,
I mean that as a loving term. I'm complimenting you by comparing you to such a great color caster as LS. That is really a compliment. That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. It's humbling. He's an LCK caster and a renowned coach in the scene. So if you're gonna compare me to anyone, then I'm honored. So.
Yeah. See, people get insulted. They say you're like this, you like that. It's really a compliment, right? Because they're popular, they're successful. Even if you don't like LS, you gotta admit he seems to know a lot about video games, even if he cheated in Root War.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, he definitely knows his stuff. Although, if I were him, I would be complaining that TFT has a Sinner comp right now with the Renekton Elise rather than going for anything scaling. So that's something that I'm not quite gonna do. I do appreciate that they do have that solid game plan this time. They banned the Ornn and the Wukong as well. Not gonna want those team fighting power picks to be against them this time. And yeah, I'm excited to see if they can pull it off in the early game here.
Well, I mean, even if you get compared to LS, there's one thing that you are better at than him, and he will never ever be able to do this. Is that he would lose his mind if he saw these games being played. Like he'd literally have an aneurysm and die because I don't think he could stand watching these sugar-free league games. I think he would literally just go insane from watching them, like just straight up. I don't know how he could stand the hours and hours of footage of people picking Katarina mid with Elise, Renekton, and Lucian Braum. Like I think he would just lose his mind.
Yeah, he would just be so stunned at the absolute strength of this league and how good they are. And he's just like, why aren't we watching these instead of the LCK? Obviously, I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree.
Well, with that, you call them a Sinner comp, but do you like Team Fish Taco in this game, or do you think it's a clean sweep here for the Imperial Knights?
I wouldn't be too surprised based on the last game if Imperial Knights do just keep a calm head and install this one out and continue on with their Drake Soul late game win condition with the team fights. I think their team fighting was very good, and I think that they have a stronger jungle champion here for blue as well. So I'm gonna predict the 2-0 for Imperial Knights. Although I do have to give props to TFT for really going all out in the early game, and I'm excited to see if they truly can just steamroll this one, because of course they did have the early lead in the last game. So there's definitely a chance that they could pull it off.
Well, if you're gonna lose, go out in style, right? Don't do it halfway. Go balls to the wall. Pick Katarina, Elise, Renekton. If you're gonna go home, go big. That's what I'd say. But Imperial Knights up 1-0. Team Fish Taco with their backs up against the walls, really going balls to the wall. So we'll see if they can pull off the win here. Imperial Knights with a more standard team comp, gonna play to that similar win condition. We'll see who wins coming up next in just a few minutes. Back for game number 2. And welcome back, everyone. Game number 2, Imperial Knights Black, up 1-0 here over Team Fish Taco, but, well, this game's going to be exciting. In what way, I don't know, but something exciting is going to happen, probably pretty early on.
Yeah, basically the excitement levels will rise and fall with how well TFT play this early game, I would say, because the ball is certainly in their court with the 5 champions that they have on their squad. They've got the Elise Renekton, they've got the Lucian Braum, and this wild card in Katarina as well. Don't think he's using the wild card Katarina skin, but you know, it's still that kind of champion. You don't really know what to expect until you see it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. That looks like a newer skin, but I have no idea what that is, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's Blood Moon. It looks like a chroma though, but I do think that is the Blood Moon skin. I think it was this year that it was released.
So he's got the big bucks, is what you're saying.
Yeah, of course. He's really wanting people to know that this is a Katarina player. So watch out, because
Well, if you want to go beg for subs, try and get BBM in chat and ask for him, because he's got money to burn here, and he's also going for this Doran's shield. So he hasn't gone for like a Dark Seal or Philb or anything like that. He's going for playing a little bit more safer, maybe in the first couple of us, and then looking for the all-in later on. When he still has a bit of health.
It is a ranged champion that he's against, so of course you're going to want to stave off a little bit of the aggression and the poke from the Azir, especially because Hudrich did look pretty good on the Azir in the last game. Of course, his ultimates, not the most optimal, I would say, on the ultimates, but definitely in the lanes and in zoning out the fights with his soldier. I think his soldier's movement was quite nice. So yeah, definitely, as we can see right there, as it did pan to the mid lane, already down quite a bit of CS, already taken the punishment. Definitely like the Doran shield purchase.
Well, I mean, the effort was there. He flashed in and tried to dash in several times these years. The ultimates may not have been the perfect execution, yet a lot of damage being put down. That's a flash and a heal drop. The Knight wasn't put down there from Bernard, so Pierre didn't get the kill, but they do get double summer spells there, level 1.
And very nice stuff, and that's exactly the kind of explosiveness you can expect to see from the Lucian Braum. If you tag someone one time and Lucian has his dash up, then you gotta be pretty scared of that, and that is gonna be G-Friend using both of the pots. But now Gragas is in position to go for a gank. Play lands.
Double play in the hook, but in the top side though, Cocoon lands the first blood over to the Elise. Now Pierre trying to run away, and will actually survive with the flash away, but Bernard in trouble. Has already used the flash and will survive. So in the bot side, 3 summoner spells blown, but the gank survived. And well, Team Fish Taco could plan out the early game. I mean, I think it looks something like this.
Yeah, both junglers getting nice, effective ganks off. However, only one does result in a kill. It is in the top lane. Heimerdoodles and Azuki getting that first blood down with the Elise Renekton. Very nice stuff. Although in the bot lane, Piero and Bernard do lose all of their defensive summoner spells. It's Rich taking some more assault from BBM. But yeah, the early game still going the way of TFT. Absolutely is. Ooh, just waddling into the mid lane saying hello.
Blue Jay just looks, he's just like, hello. He's just like so friendly, but Heimerdoodle not so friendly. Gonna hop onto him. Actually a 4-3 level advantage there for the Elise, and Blue Jay will just waddle away again. So just saying hello to everyone on the Rift, and yeah, none worse for the wear really at the end of that one.
Just a nice friendly Gragas, you know, after a nice night of partying. He's put aside the partying life. He's practicing social distancing.
Yeah, it's a friendly neighborhood Gragas. I feel like if Gragas didn't have a profession as, you know, fighting to death in an arena, his profession would be something like being like a children's show host, where he'd just kind of be like that funny character that comes in, you know, and all the children love, and the parents are like, this is kind of weird, right? And then all the kids still love it. Like that's the kind of Gragas I imagine. It's like a very weird specific reference, but I don't know. This is just kind of what I thought of because he seems so friendly today.
Would he have like a costume, like a mascot costume, like Barney or the Teletubbies?
Yeah, that's why I imagine Gragas like waddling around in like a suit. And and all the kids love it, and it just like it just has the annoying songs that are like super high pitched and everything. And then Gragas just waddles around, and then you find out like 20 years later that the mascot had a drinking habit that was out of control.
So, do you think that Gragas would have a specific animal in mind, or would he be a more amorphous blob like the Teletubbies?
I feel like it would be a bit of a combination. Like he'd be a squid, but he was kind of like he wasn't really like a realistic squid, more of a blobby kind of squid sort of looking thing. That'd be kind of my. Gotcha. So it'd be like something like an animal, but not like a hippo, but he's like really kind of a cartoonish hippo. As we get ganked in the bot lane, but I don't think they're gonna be able to find this one here, as the hook gonna sail wide as well. So nice root coming out from the bellies, but I think everyone's gonna be fine at the end of this one. As Akun gonna come in to disengage here. So an attempt at a gank, but the first play that actually didn't really go in the favor of Team Fish Taco, honestly.
Yeah, just gonna fizzle out right there. Of course, Heimerdoodles was spotted on the ward as he tried to get into the alcove. There's that ward in the center brush in the bot lane, but is still on the prowl on this Elise, looking for the Drake. It does get started up by the volatile Spiderling.
There's a control ward in there, but I don't think it's kind of going to be easy to solo that out. They don't have like an Olaf or a Gragas that can just kind of pop over the wall with a blast gun and solo it down. So both these junglers kind of need their team to come help do it.
Yeah. Of course, if anyone did go for it right there, it would be in full vision and full knowledge of the opposing team. So definitely very high risk to go for a Drake like that here. Just going to go for the reset, but while BBM, flash.
Coon's gonna land. This is a big commitment here. Hoodrich taking a lot of damage. He's gonna flash out Ignite on him. And now the Propel gonna find the damage, and BBM gets the kill in the mid lane.
No mana available for Hoodrich right there to cast the Emperor's Divide. Will go down to the Flash Cocoon. Very nice gank by Heimerdoodles. Goes into the enemy jungle and takes away the red buff as well. Well, he doesn't have it quite yet. Could get stopped in the next few seconds, but it does seem like he is going to have it.
Looks like maybe a dive bot side. They take the blast going over here, so both the Katarina and Elise on the bot side looking for a play. UJ going in, but will they know they're the ones out number 4v3 here. Hero putting down the damage, now Heimerdoodle and BBM coming in. Dagger not really where he wants to be, but Heimerdoodle going to find the kill onto Blue Jay, and now the Thresh going to fall to BBM. Wish trying to run away. Can he get slowed up? Nope, not going to land this time around. Good sidestep by Wish, but 2 kills. Really nice play there on the bot side. And, well, Team Fish Taco again, stretching their lead here, now looking for the Dragon.
And 4-0 now here for Team Fish Taco Supreme, and going for this Drake is going to be really nice for them as well. Usually the early Drakes are not the most highly prized possessions here, but if you already have the kill lead, top lane, Zuki.
Already popped the Dominus, a lot of damage. Keelan, very, very low, but both will disengage. Either top laner wants to fight the death. Just going to back off and maybe look for another fight after they heal up a little bit. And the Cutlass is there. Suzuki has a lot of sustained, you know, what's that, 15% lifesteal? So it's changed. Maybe my brain sucks, I don't know. But he does have a lot of sustain, plus the Conqueror when that gets stacked up here. So looks like neither top laner are going to commit to that play here. But now Rift Herald available. Team Fish Taco definitely want to pick that one up to try and accelerate the pace of this game.
With that Drake that they already have as well, they don't have to be as concerned about the Drake soul that was the main objective for Imperial Knights in the previous game as well. So now they are threatening it themselves, and this is something that I really like to see on early game focused teams, taking those first 2 Drakes, because it does mean that in a late game situation, if you do choose to prioritize this in the early game, then you can actually still scale up pretty well. Even though your team edged as the 5 champions doesn't scale up, if you do have a very impactful Drake soul, then all of a sudden you are going toe-to-toe in the late game with the team play.
Yeah, well, here we go. The Rift Herald going to be started up by the Elise. Renekton has the priority in the top side, and mid's somewhat even here. So it looks like we get the priority in the Braum up here, so that will assure that the Rift Herald will go over, you would think, as the Culling using the bot lane to just clear out the wave, and Azuki and Keelan continuing to fight, but neither side really threatening to kill just yet. So Elise will be able to take this Rift Herald pretty cleanly, and Gragas bot side with not really much to do.
This is something that I really like to see out of TFT Supreme in this one. In the previous game, they had the early game team, but they were not able to get any of the objectives on the map at all. Now they've already got 2 for 0. Though, all right, mid gank avoided. Can Piero make it out?
Well, he does there, and the Braum comes in to defend him, and Hook eventually comes in, but not really that close to finding anyone here. Gragas bot side, and yeah, it doesn't really do anything. And Heimerdiddles looks like he'll just take that Scuttlecraft. So the Gragas really hasn't gotten anything done the past couple minutes, and now finally goes on to the Krugs, but really didn't farm for the last like 30 or 40 seconds. Just wasn't farming, wasn't really doing much of anything, and Piero was able to get out from the bot lane there. So yeah, not really much gain for the jungler of Imperial Knights, but this is a really nice spot to be in, right, if you are Team Fish Taco. But it is so far from where they need to be, because the longer the game goes on, the less and less this lead is going to matter. So they got to keep pushing the pace of this game, pedal to the metal. Otherwise, they will essentially fall behind here. He's going to hook in the bot lane. Nice job. And now getting turned around on. G-Friend Guinea is trying to run away, but that's a lot of damage coming through. And now finally the Ignite from Bernard will do it. Flashing out. He will get out of the ultimate there from Wish and will survive. So support goes down, but Bernard not going to fall this time. Really nice play there on the bot side.
Yeah, another positive play for the Team Fish Taco Supreme squad. They locked down another kill onto G-Friend, and yeah, continuing their reign of terror down there. They do have the Rift Herald, but did not choose to do it right there. Not summoning it. They did not have the health totals to continue that one, and maybe thinking about going topside with it as Heimerdoodle's making a beeline up there as Zuki is in this 1v1 still. He does have that sustain that we mentioned before with the Cutlass. And yeah, no turret plates taken so far, I might add, by either team, which is definitely something strange, but that could change very soon.
Here comes a gank to the top side. Showstopper going to come down, and Keelan flashing away, but a flash ball from Zuki gets the stun. Chilling Smite goes down, a lot of damage, and that'll be a kill. Heimerdoodles with the repel out will survive, and that's pretty clinical. Top side, at least, reacted. That's kind of how you do it. Rift Hill going to get some Blue Jays here, but no one else, so the charge should get through. Unlikely a Chert will fall, but maybe some platings here as Heimerdoodles and Azuki stick around, and eventually his wave will get in, but Blue Jay buying as much time as possible.
He does take a chunk out of the Rift Herald's health bar right here. Maybe not even going to get anything more than the 2 plates at that point, as knock it quite low. And oh, I think it did get 3, just barely gets the 3rd plate there. Azuki and Heimerdoodle's going to pick up some extra gold, and going to go for some pressure on the map as well. They're going for the reset as the Drake's about to be up. Nice hook does land, but not gonna be anything else. But yeah, this Drake is gonna be pretty important. It is the Infernal Drake, and this one is the most important one for the TFT squad here.
Yeah, they have a 3k gold lead here, 1 dragon in the pocket, and at 13 minutes looking for this 2nd dragon. And well, good Squires in this spot. 3 members of Imperial Knights sitting in that brush here. TP coming in. This is a big deciding factor, right? If the team fight goes the way Team Fish Taco, they can have a huge lead and potentially win this game. But if they lose it, I feel like their hopes of winning this game definitely stop here. But they're in the advantage, and they're really committing hard with the team already put down.
Maybe think about diving in. Drake is already gone. It does seem like TFT got exactly what they were looking for, as 1 turret plate does go down in the mid lane. Perhaps a 2nd one as the Aphelios damage coming in, but doesn't look like it is going to be, and TFT continuing to step up the pace here. Another Ocean Soul on the Rift, and with 2 Drake lead, TFT very well could close this one out with the scaling advantage, even though they have the early game team.
Yeah, the fight there definitely felt in their favor, but I wonder what your thoughts on this are. Like, was it good to try and commit to a fight there if you're the Knights, or was Team Fish Taco just too strong and giving the Dragons the right call? Because, you know, getting close to the Soul is very, very concerning. We don't know what it, or we don't know when it'll come through. We know that it'll be the Ocean, but we don't know when it'll come through, you know, depending on the exact time they take the Dragon. But to me, delaying that Soul is so important that maybe taking the fight was the right call. As we get Stun going to come through here onto Keelan. A lot of damage put down. He's in a bit of trouble here. Already used the Haymaker, and one more auto will do it. Piero with the kill topside. Don't really know what he was doing, but just got stunned up and went down.
Just sitting in the brush, waiting for something to happen, but Bernard does check that one. Is 0-7 now. Is the Grunt taken away from Blue Jay as well. Katarina damage coming in, but not quite going to be anything.
2 level lead in the jungle right now. 8-10 is the lead. At least 10. August 8, a concerning number as BBM put a little bit of damage down, but the ultimate not going to do too much here as turret taken in the top side, but only 1 so far at 15 minutes. isn't the crazy lead you're hoping for, still 4K gold is nice.
Certainly true. And yeah, the biggest thing here is that they do have all the objectives, right? The Rift Herald is about to be up as well. If TFT can lock that one down and start breaking down these turrets too, then it just gets harder and harder for Imperial Knights to come back, which is exactly what TFT Supreme is looking to do. They do need that to come through and make sure they close this one out quickly. Because again, they do get outscaled based on the champions. So accelerating the game in this way is definitely benefiting them. They've already set up vision around this Rift Herald and going to be looking to close that one out here. Maybe going for a pick first, so they aren't starting up the objective immediately.
Gonna get a little bit damage down onto that mid-outer turret, but the second Rift could be big here. First Rift got a decent amount of work done, but definitely, you know, Rift Herald can be a game-winning objective if you're able to get it, you know, and get it at a really good time. Maybe break open a base or something like that. That's just a huge potential Rift Herald has. So maybe the second one can do even more and get Team Fish Taco in a position to really blow up this game and never look back after that. Because again, they are on a bit of a timer. Like they have to continue to push the pace. And the bot side though, BBM gonna flash away as, well, he saw the enemy jungler and was like, well, I don't want any of that, and just ran out of there. So turret gonna be given over here to Imperial Knights in the bot side, but in the mid lane, Rift Herald summoned, and Shelly, well, she's looking for at least one turret, and maybe gonna get a second here, but is here trying to defend.
Rift Herald's still alive. Maybe gonna get another charge. I don't think so, as there it goes. It is gonna be a trade of turrets across the map, but turret trades like this actually do favor Imperial Knights quite heavily.
Especially considering they use Rift Herald, right?
Yeah, exactly. The enemy team used an objective that they got, and they only got a trade of exactly equal gold. So that's not the kind of play that you're looking for as being game winning here for TFT Supreme. Of course, the mid turret is more important than the bot lane turret, I would imagine, but not really. They're not really in the market for trades like that. They're in the market for winning the plays and making sure that they starve out the enemy team as much as possible. But losing their bot lane turret and their flash of their mid laner, not the most ideal situation.
Yeah, flash on the Katarina. The good news is she's got Gunblade completed, so the Katarina online, ready to go, looking for fights potentially to take over the game here. But losing flash definitely important at this stage, right? To make it a little bit easier to dodge that key ability, right? That would either kill her, or you know, maybe if she dodges it, then she survives, able to turn around that fight and win it for her team. So that's an important cooldown as well. And Rift Herald gone means no more potential for that, no more pressure around the map on that. And really, just the next thing is this dragon. If they get this soul point coming up, but they definitely need to keep going, keep that you know, pedal down. Otherwise, the game gonna start to slip away from them. And you know, looking at the items, Aphelios already got his first item and a little bit more, and Azir going for the last chapter into his first item, so he's actually, you know, somewhat strong here. But Imperial Knights overstep could be very scary, but they're still starting to put together those items, which is really the thing you got to look at because they're going to get there soon.
Imperial Knights have the positioning advantage here and the vision, but their jungler is down 3 levels, so it's still rather scary to go for it.
Yep. Dragon getting very low. Smite looking up to Blue Jay, secures it, but now the fight might just go in the favor of Team Fish Taco. A lot of damage put down onto them in the backline. They were all about half health, but there's really no one left on the side of Imperial Knights, and well, their jungler goes down, and now Wish maybe the only one going to survive. So they get the dragon, but they lose a lot of members for it. Very concerning. 11-0 is the kill score line.
Yeah. Not the kind of fight that you're looking for. They turn away from the Drake, which is something that I'm really concerned about. Is they really just needed to take the Drake and get out of there as fast as possible. 3 flashes available, but not going to choose to use them to get out of the situation. They're just going to accept their fate, go into the fight, and while they do get the Drake, 4 members going down is not ideal for Imperial Knights. It's very reminiscent of what happened last game in the other way. Imperial Knights getting the fight and losing the Drake, but we know who won the last game. Could be true of this one as well.
Alright, well, turret taking the bot side by Azuki. 4-0-4 is the at least 3-0-3 the Katarina. So they have a very strong lineup. Honestly, look across the board, you know, good score lines there, but they have a lot of gold here. How do they end this game though? Do they need the Baron to do it? Because they're incredibly low range, and I feel like they can't really like win the game without it. I mean, that's kind of what it screams to me is like they're low range, their dive's okay, but not really able to just end the game off a team fight. So Baron, that's the goal, right?
I would certainly agree. Yeah, I think either that or they need to find these picks, because eventually in the near future, in about like 8 or 10 minutes or so, Imperial Knights, they will have at least some semblance of items that they can use to defend themselves and maybe get a few picks off in a team fight. So the TFT is really going to need to make sure that they keep Imperial Knights scattered, and they don't go for a 5v5 fight when the items do come through for Imperial Knights, because even though they are so far ahead, they're up 8,000, almost 8,000 gold. It's about 7,000 actually. They still do have to be rather careful of the enemy champions of the other team.
And the Elise sitting on Morello looking for that Zonias here in a Soul Stealer for the Katarina. So a big investment in that here, which makes sense given the circumstances of the game. But most of the champions right now looking first item plus a little bit extra, and that second item coming through for some of them here on the side of Kingfish Taco. And on the other side, you look at Hero Knights, they're all onto like one item-ish, but really haven't gotten anywhere near that second item. So definitely can see the gold lead in the items here, but you know, once they get that second, third item, then it really becomes scary. How do you start to win a team fight when you're just getting outscaled like that? No Warren, but still, that late game team fight with the Aphelios Azir is going to be pretty scary here. And, you know, these Sun Turrets buying a little bit of time here, but now basically full topside control has been given over in terms of, you know, map control for Team Fish Taco. Vision, though, has been very good defensively. If you look at Imperial Knights, they've got a lot of blue wards, so that's buying them quite a lot of time in terms of, you know, stalling out the control on that top side.
Yeah, they even did have the Scuttle Crab for a period of time as well, but of course that is now expired. Keelan not wanting to 1v1 fight against Azuki, because he did not go for the Blade of the Ring King build at all on his side. Went Tiamat, and it looks like he's going for a Black Cleaver as well, so the 1v1 is certainly in the hands of Azuki if he does continue to do so. But again, I still want to point out that Blue Jay is continuously so far behind in experience on this Gragas. He is down, well, he's down only 2 levels now. It's likely more than 2 levels in terms of the raw experience numbers, but he was down 3 levels up until he just took that camp, and his smite is significantly weaker than that of Heimerdoodles. So I'm really worried for Imperial Knights that if a smite fight does happen, that even if they do have a nice steal, Blue Jay still won't be able to do it because his smite is just weaker.
That's definitely a concern for sure, too. Like, trying to go for those 50-50s really isn't a 50-50 anymore. Like, you can take maybe a few more risks because your jungler is just that much stronger in terms of his raw smite damage. You skew those odds a little bit in your favor just naturally because of that. But it's hard to go for Baron, I feel like, as this comp, though, just because they have, you know, they have decent sustain. Like, they got a lot of lifesteal, but they don't really have a great tank. Like, Brahm's decent at it, but they don't really know to soak up the damage, and their Baron damage isn't, like, crazy good or anything, so it seems difficult for Team Fish Taco to go for that Baron anytime soon unless they get a big team fight in here. And now Ocean Dragon coming down. No soul, obviously, because that other one that was taken. But this third Dragon could be pretty big as well. And put the Ocean Soul back, or the Ocean Soul, you know, as a wing addition back into the hands of Team Fish Taco. But the team fight starting off, TV coming in from behind. As big flash engage there by the Gragas, a massive play. And this might be just a team fight win for his side. Keelan dodging a few abilities in the backline, but he will fall here. So Imperial Knights still have their carries, but losing much of the rest of their team. Now Wish is in trouble. He's going to go down. A shutdown on these here, but then a double kill back, and now a 3-man team fight win for Team Fish Taco. Somehow turn around that team fight despite an amazing engage from the Gragas.
Oh man, that was about as ideal as you could possibly imagine for Imperial Knights in the engage. Blue Jay hitting 4 people with his body slam flash, but just too far behind, it seems. Team Fish Taco Supreme clean up that fight with ease, and yeah, the engage is completely stuffed out. The Aphelios damage was coming in super clutch for Wish, but overstepped just a tiny bit and ate the crowd control that spelled his death as well. 5 for 2 ace is going to be the 3rd Drake for TFT taken. They are now at soul point for the Ocean, and they get the fight win as well.
But you know what's huge about that? They don't lose Baron, and they don't lose an inhibitor turret even. So So that's huge. Like, that's a great team fight win for Team Fish Taco, but they didn't actually, like, advance their game state forward that much after that, to be honest. Like, a little bit of gold, but no objectives, as Piero actually now in a bit of trouble, slowed up there by the Chilling Smite and Cask of Blue Jay. Hook, not going to be a death sentence this time around from Keeney, but a good try and almost picked up the kill. Certainly delayed a lot of time, but the get back to base.
That was some close stuff there from Piero. It's a clencher for sure, trying to get out of that one as Illusion, but does manage to do so, goes back to base and picks up the seal for himself, more attack speed and more glory stacks as well for Hammerdoodles and BBM. That's another Soul Stealer picked up. They've got a combined 28 of them out of a total of 50. So maybe they can get towards that at the end of the game, as long as they don't die, of course. BBM got 18 of them, so he's feeling pretty good about himself after that last Drake fight.
Well, the Scuttle Crab goes over, actually. The Azir going to grab that one, so that's pretty nice. And again, delaying the Baron take. Like, the longer they get vision on the top side, it becomes, you know, hard to grab that Baron. Doesn't look like that's on the menu, though. They're just kind of pushing down mid lane. Renekton trying to get some pressure here in the bot lane as well. Getting some damage out. Now going to Thomas. Maybe just looks for the kill on the Keelan. Haymaker goes out, buying a bit of time here. Showstopper just spells his death. Heimerdiddle comes in and picks up the kill. So maybe not the time to use the Showstopper there, but unfortunately there weren't many other options here. So now in the bot lane, a little bit of pressure can be gained by the Renekton, but the Sun Turret in the mid lane buying a lot of time.
Now we're seeing the red line pointing angrily at Piero.
a little bit of a visual bug there. Piero's
still
not
going.
actually got aggro, but
That's pretty funny.
yeah, that laser,
but yeah,
man.
the Baron potentially being started up here. Of course, the Scuttle Crab is there for Imperial Knights. They know that it's a possibility.
3-level difference, though.
Like, yeah, still so much stronger on the Smite, as the laser is still pointing angrily at Piero.
Here comes the engage. Defriend already down. They were just baiting it out. A great pick already. And now Blue Jay may follow Body Slam away. Wish gonna throw out the ultimate. Moonlight Vigil buying some time. Blue Jay still alive somehow, but that's not gonna stay true for very long. Zuki comes in from the backside and is able to pick up that kill. So 3 picks off the back of that one, baiting out the Scuttle Crab vision actually, and now back onto the Baron here. The Azir and Set are still alive, but really all they can do is push out mid lane.
TFT doing an excellent job baiting the vision right there, and they get all the picks that they need to go for this Baron. Like we were mentioning, that's really what they're looking for at stalling out this game, or not stalling out the game, accelerating the game and making sure that they can close this one out. They needed picks like that. They don't want the 5v5 fight in full front because they can get engaged on, like we saw at the Drake pit. They don't want to lose any members because, like we were talking about before, trades are better for Imperial Knights. So getting that vision trap down, getting all the picks that they need, it does cause TFT to pick up the Baron, and that might be all they need to close out this game.
Well, there's still a little bit they have to accomplish before they can truly end the game here, but it certainly does look good for them going forward with over a 10,000 gold lead, about 12,000 really, and, you know, they have the Baron now. So the question is, what can they do with this? They have all the tools at their disposal, but now they actually got to do it. They don't really have great siege, but with the Baron minions, obviously that becomes not as much a problem. Still, though, they're already, you know, down a minute of Baron time here and haven't even pushed any waves yet, so they've got a lot of work to be done here. They're going to fly wide, and good defense on the vision here. Again, buying a lot of time installing out this Baron, so Imperial Knights, once again, playing well from behind and playing well defensively.
They're going to need to continue this.
Oh, they find a hook on a BBM. Zonia's going to come through. Will buy a bit of time for himself, but he may just go down. A huge pick. They find the shutdown onto the Katarina, who had a Soul Stealer built up. And now Showstopper going to be dropped down here. Keelan just trying to run away from Azuki. He's down 3 levels. 17 to 14. Azuki will find the kill there. That's a huge opening in response. Now the Dragon here, Soul potentially for the side of Team Fish Taco, but Imperial Knights trying to take it away from them here. Blue Jay taking a lot of damage in the front lane, and Fresh already out of the fight. A good cast comes down, and now Blue Jay with the body slam. Zony's going to buy some time here. Moonlight Vigil comes down, a lot of damage, but neither side has lost any members just yet. Still a 4v3. The Renekton is on the base. He's on to the Nexus turrets. Can the Imperial Knights get this Dragon? But right now, the base, again, is just going down. The Renekton already's got 1 turret down, and now, oh, we missed it on the front other side. The Azir's going to go down. It looks like this might be the end for the side of Imperial Knights, as Team Fish Taco are going to take the Dragon, and Renekton looking to end the game here. G-Friend looking to try and stall it as long as he can. Set is revived, but Azuki just might kill G-Friend. He's already at very low health, and a couple more hours might do it, but now Azuki just onto the Nexus with the minions. That'll be it. The hook gonna land, buying, again, some time, but I don't think this will stall out long enough here. The Graga still has a couple seconds, and just a little bit of BM, it looks like.
I think Keelan has accepted his fate, as that's going to be the Nexus taken by TFT Supreme. We're going to game 3, and yeah, what an explosive game here by the Team Fish Taco Supreme team. 30 minutes in, closing out with the Drake Soul.
Yeah, that was a crazy, weird situation. They found the pick on the Katarina and then committed onto that dragon, which seemed like a good idea in terms of denying the soul, but then they kind of left open their neck into split pushing in the game, which was, well, how they lost the game there and lost the fight around the dragon. So it seemed like maybe a good idea at the time, but really spelled their doom in the end.
And right there in that final push here by Azuki, you can see just the strength of the Blade of the Ring King, and the difference between a Blade of the Ring King set and a non-Blade of the Ring King set. You cannot fight the Renekton at all if you do not have that item. So we're seeing this maybe a lack in experience in that item on the set here for Keelan. Is not going to go for that one, doesn't even finish a second item. Azuki just completely gets the better end of the top lane 1v1. And yeah, if they can continue this early game trend here, then TFT Supreme may just close out this series.
Yeah, well, now 1-1. We'll see if they can try and complete the reverse sweep, or if Imperial Knights can come back and fix the problems game number 2. That was a really wonky team comp, but it had one very singular purpose, and Team Fish Taco executed it and able to come back here game number 2, pick up the win, and force a game number 3 here. So we'll take a short break. We'll be back game number 3 in just a couple minutes. But, well, we've got a lot to think about because that was a really crazy game, a crazy draft, and we'll see if they try it again. Welcome back, everyone. Team Fish Taco versus Imperial Knights Black. Game number 3, 1-1, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And, well, a crazy game number 2 for Team Fish Taco going full early game. Went a little bit longer than we were expecting, while them still coming out with the win. But they somehow went a little bit extra long, got almost to 30 minutes and pulled out the win with a crazy Renekton kind of backdoor play, which was a surprising end to the game for sure. But really, just crazy comp and showed that they can win with going full early game, full, balls to the wall.
Yeah, and I think all things considered, it was a rather clean game from TFT Supreme. They only took, I believe, 2 kills or 2 deaths the entire match, so very well played by them, just winning those fights very handedly. And yeah, the backdoor at the end here for Azuki, just a nice way to close it out there. It definitely feels bad for Imperial Knights, as we saw they were just kind of sitting around in their bases watching it happen, but yeah, I still love to see it here out of TFT, and that is why we are going into game number 3. TFT now on the blue side, Imperial on the red. It seems like red side has been the hot spot, as red has won both the matches so far.
Yeah, the Echo going to be first picked, which with the Wukong Orange set all banned away, it has become, I guess, the highest priority for Team Fish Taco. But it does seem a little surprising to me. I mean, there's still lots of good champions I feel are available, but Echo going to be picked up, and then Silas in response. So a very different look than we've had in the last couple games. We got Set, Orn, Wukong, like they were all high priority. Now they're all gone, so we're just defaulting, I guess, to the next best thing.
Yeah, and it's very interesting, I think, because in the previous game, TFT were really prioritizing the Renekton and then their bot lane of the Braum and Lucian, but this time taking a very different approach. Echo doesn't really fit in either of those roles. He can go into the jungle or the mid, but locking that one in, of course, just showing that they have a different strategy in mind. And I really do like the Silas. I think Silas is a very powerful champion in the meta right now, and the Senna locked in as well. I believe that champion was banned in both of the other games on blue side, so going to be locked in here on the red side. Imperial Knights snagging that one up.
It's interesting Silas is taken at this stage, though, because they only know the Echo, so they don't really know what the ultimates are going to be. So there's definitely potential for Team Fish Taco to kind of pick around that and try and play a little bit or pick rather a little bit defensively, so they don't give Silas they don't pick Malphite basically, like don't do kind of crazy stuff like that. They're gonna go with the Renekton and Braum, which have decent ultimates but aren't crazy powerful, and you also have the ability to, I think, combat him decently well. The Renekton, I feel like, is a pretty good matchup into Silas if he does go top lane. So, and Braum can shut him down a little bit with his shield to block some stuff, maybe. So we'll see, how that interacts later on. But Senna here with the Nautilus, is this going to be a fasting Senna? It kind of seems that way, but is this the plan for the Senna going forward?
I would imagine so. I think Senna without fasting is kind of terrible at this point, because you don't get nearly as many souls, and the souls that you do get are much weaker than before as well. So I would definitely hope that this is a fasting Senna with the Nautilus. Nautilus, of course, can go for an early ability power item if he wants to, or you can go for the more standard, just Sunfire Cape right away, just stay alive. But on the side of Imperial Knights now attacking the bans, they've started with the Lucian. I would personally probably take away either that Elise or the Katarina, depending on where you do think this Echo is going to go.
Well, Lucian banned away first by the Knights, and now Team Fish Taco looking for possibly, well, they're definitely looking for an AD carry and possibly a mid laner slash top laner. Not sure, or possibly a mid laner slash jungler, I meant to say. So not really exactly sure where that's going. But they're going to ban away the Azir, ban away a mid laner here up against the Knights, who have been using that to pretty good effect. Played it twice in a row, and it was good, but didn't seem to be game defining. So just getting a second phase rotation, or second phase ban rather.
Yeah, and interesting that they're attacking that as well, as the Silas has already been locked in. So it's another situation where both Echo and Silas can be flexed around to different roles. They're not really sure where it's going to go, so just going to take that one away. But Imperial Knights gonna continue on with their AD focused bans here. Lucian and Aphelios taken away, not going to attack the mid jungle of the previous game unless they do choose to lock in Elise or Katarina here. But based on how they've been playing the last 2 games, I find that to be rather unlikely.
All right, Lee Sin. So now Imperial Knights have most likely to get a jungler and then a soul laner. As Silas Jungle seems, I think his clear is pretty rough now, so unlikely he'll be flexed there. But Kled being picked up would be pretty spicy, which Kled doesn't really fit the way Imperial Knights have played in the past. I mean, he's literally the identity of the champion is just go at the enemy until you either kill them or they kill you. That's kind of all he does. So
Yeah, he can be quite powerful in this. Of course, I've been seeing a few Blade of the Ring King sets, or not set, Kled been roaming around, but I'm not entirely convinced that that is an amazing strategy with it. It is going to be the Varus locked in for TFT. This is definitely not early game for Varus Braum. Very different look than the Lucian that was banned away. You can still make some early game plays, especially if this is the poke oriented build, but it looks like it is going to be the Varus Braum locked in for the bot lane, Echo and Elise, which confirms the Echo in the mid lane for TFT.
and so you get the Lease back again, which was really good in game number 2. Renekton also pretty good. Kled has that Grievous Wounds, though, so perhaps that'll be a much better matchup. Plus, the dismount can sometimes kind of screw up things, especially if you're diving him underneath the tower. So maybe Kled will fare better in the top lane than the set did last game for Imperial Knights. But, well, we'll see how this one goes. Because Kled, again, definitely very different than the rest of their team, or the rest of their strategy has been in the past. And Jarvan looks to be the pick here. So have a decent damage profile, pretty varied here for Imperial Knights, but it doesn't seem like they have a lot of great consistent damage because the Senna takes a while to scale up, and she's not the type of AD carry who's going to be outputting a lot of autos. She's more utility focused in that regard. Doesn't have quite that consistent damage that like a Caitlyn would or a traditional AD carry here. So I'm interested to see how that damage is going to get through the side of Team Fish Taco, which isn't super tanky but still has a decent beef to it.
Yeah, very beefy. That was the word that I was going to say as well for Imperial Knights. 4 melee champions, and they're bolstered by a Senna as well, so lots of healing in the front line here. The sustained damage that you were talking about, I think that it's really just on the Silas to pump it out. He is the only magic damage on this team, so that's going to help out quite a bit, other than the Nautilus, of course, because of ability power. But looking at how this played out in the draft, I would imagine he's going to go for tank, so they can just keep the Silas and the Senna alive and safer. The main issue with running 4 melees is on the opposing team, you're against the Braum and the Varus, who are very, very good at stopping that one, especially because Imperial Knights, they've got a few engaging ultimates, but other than that, they don't have too much mobility to get into the Varus, especially when a Braum is in the way. So I would imagine that TFT can just, the champions that they've got, they can just kind of void out the engages of Imperial Knights, although they do still have the early game core in the Renekton Elise. So TFT could still be the aggressors in this game if they do get snowballing in that way again.
Yeah, so your thoughts on this draft in terms of your prediction for the rest of the series. Who do you think is going to end up taking this one? I just want to hear, I want to get this in stone so that way I can call you wrong at the end of this.
Well, I think I really did like the TFT draft of the last game where they just went all in on early game and they just tried to brute force their way through that one and steamroll. I think that this is a little bit of a step back, and I'm much less excited about this one. With the Echo first pick, they had the option to go for the Lucian Braum again, but they delay it by going for that, and they had the option to go for the Katarina again. Of course, it's much less effective against something like a Silas that can just duel you and out DPS you, but they still have the Renekton Elise, so they can get things going. I am just thinking that Imperial Knights, while they are up against a much less aggressive team comp, and they have a much more defensive one in their regard, in the Kled especially, who just cannot get dove, I think that Imperial Knights are going to be able to take this one back and take the 2-1 victory.
Alrighty then. Well, that's a decent prediction. I think it makes a lot of sense. Definitely, you laid it out for us here. And taking a step back, like you said, from that the thing that worked for them in game number 2, which, looking at the champions that they got banned away from them, I feel like they could have put together a pretty similar composition if they wanted to. They could have because they got the Elise Renekton, that they could, even with the Echo, like you just pick a more aggressive jungler here, or more aggressive AD carry rather. It feels like you could probably put together a similar composition. So kind of interesting that they go for the Varus this time around, but they still can be aggressive. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize on that. But you say Imperial Knights 2-1, so I will remember that and then make fun of you later when you are wrong.
It only works if you also have a prediction. You got to predict it too.
No, I am a member of the Twitch chat, and I don't need to make a prediction to call you wrong. It's not how that works.
I guess that's true.
Like,
you got me there.
Because Twitch chat ever made a prediction and backed it up? I don't think it's ever happened in the history of the website. So I think it's pretty unlikely that that's ever happened. So I feel like if they haven't, then I don't have to. I can live by those same rules. And beyond that, I'm a play-by-play guy now, so it's really not on me. Your job is to make predictions and put your reputation on the line. I just gotta shout things. Basically, that's all I have to do.
Well, it sounds like you're giving a whole lot of excuses for someone who didn't even lay down a prediction. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's not an excuse. I'm fulfilling my role. I'm doing my job. That's what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not an excuse. I am simply saying, all I am saying is that I would not want to step out of the bounds of my role in this. I feel like I'd be stepping on your toes, and I feel like that's disrespectful to you. So I will not make a prediction. I just think that's how things should go. So with that, 2-1, at Smacks if he's wrong, and Imperial Knights versus Team Fish Taco coming up very soon. And welcome back, everyone. Team Fish Taco, Imperial Knights Black, game number 3. And I was gonna say we were talking about this before we went live. Basically, we were saying we've got to poke Varus here. We obviously got the Comet Rune, so it's gonna be poke Varus, and that's gonna provide Team Fish Taco with a little bit more pressure in that mid game with the lethality and that poke coming out and just that kind of that raw damage. But it will definitely fall off late. So Team Fish Taco, while they did pick like a slightly more scaling AD carry this time around, they're still playing towards that that early game, mid game win condition, that play style that worked for them in game number 2.
They absolutely are here. However, it is going to be a Doran's Blade first item on Piero. Not going to go for the Corrupting Pot that you often see from the Poke Varus. He is going to run out of mana a lot more easily if he's spamming his spells this time. So you're going to have to be pretty careful of that if you're Piero in this lane, especially because you're against the Senna, who has a ton of healing from the... Well, it's really the support role, but you know, because it's the fasting Senna, it's kind of AD. It's always weird to get the vocabulary down because it's just so meta breaking the champion.
Would you say it's worth to go through Executioners somewhat early on? Like getting Executioners, maybe not like right away, but maybe you get like Serrated Dirk and the Executioners for the laning phase against Senna, or is it more of a you get first item in the Executioners because you also have the Silas here?
Maybe if it wasn't Varus, then yeah, but with his hail of arrows, he actually has previous wounds that's even better than the Executioner's Calling. So it's very similar to Kled, which, as the camera pans up there now, you get 60% healing reduction on that ability. So that ends up being quite nice against the likes of the Senna here, if of course you can land it while she is healing.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, because it only applies in the area of effect. So it's definitely a stronger version, but a little bit harder to use consistently. So I guess, yeah, being Varus, maybe not going to rush it out, but a lot of healing certainly on the side. You got the Silas and the Senna here, plus Kled will, I mean, probably go Blade the Rune King and get some healing there as well. Conqueror Jarvan, so previous wound's going to be important here. But, well, we've got to fight up top side. Both junglers here. It's going to be a 2v2. They don't know that yet, but Flag and Drag in, Flash Re applies it, and Zuki gets knocked up. Akila now in trouble, flashing back towards his turret, but a first blood gonna come through, and now another play gonna extend onto Blue Jay, who gets stunned up and taken down. A double kill there, well, 2 kills. It's evenly distributed, I should say.
And again, Heimerdinger and Azuki being so impressive on the Elise and Renekton here in this early game. 2-0 immediately at 3 minutes. It's a counter gank as well. But
hold on, in the mid lane too. Ignite down, and Hooderich gonna fall. Team Fish Taco picking up where they left off in game number 1. This is a crazy good start. You're only 3 minutes and 20 seconds in. Already 3 kills on the board.
That's a solo kill in the mid lane as well. BBM didn't even need to use any more than 1 Corrupting Pod charge. A commanding lead in the mid game, or in the mid lane here for BBM, and again, just at 3 minutes, and that's going to be a really good look for this team that wants to snowball, but Hook does come through.
Yeah, Hook lands there, but the shield coming up will, stop any further violence from occurring. The Senna looking for a little bit, a couple extra autos here. Jarvan on the bot side just going to take that Skull Crab. Spotted out, though, on a ward, so they'll know he was down here, as that ward just expired. Blue Jay, though, may still go for it. The Hook's going to land here. They find the Braum, and now maybe going to commit on his gank. Isaac on up here. Here he's going to find the stun back onto G-Friend, who's taking a lot of damage. The arrow there. Now Heimerdinger comes in. He's going to find the kill. Hopping now on to the Senna. Blue Jay here. He will... Oh, my goodness. Wow, a double kill again. This Elise, I don't even know what to say. She's on a roll.
I have a question, Kios.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to change my prediction?
Well, no, because you said in draft that it was going to be a 2-1 win for Imperial Knights, and I said that I was allowed to call you wrong at the end of this, which was in fact my prediction, saying that Team Fish Taco would win. So really, I all along was predicting Team Fish Taco to win by predicting you were going to be wrong.
Okay.
So really, you were talking down to me, saying I wasn't predicting anything, when I really was the right one all along.
It definitely seems that way now. The game is already on a rampage here for TFT, up 3,000 gold almost at 5 minutes. they've got as many kills as the minutes are in the game right here, and Heimerdoodles just came to impress here in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, on the Elise, no less, too, which is a champion that embodies the mindset, it seems, of Team Fish Taco, which is boom or bust. You either do something big early on, or the game kind of ends for them. But so far, they've been doing something big in the early game, and BBM taking another decent trade against Hoodrich, who traded back decently, but BBM has the ultimate and a slight experience lead, so perhaps maybe going to look for an all-in in coming moments, but not just yet here. As back in the bot lane, no kills, but Pierre did get those assists, and already on the serrated dirt up against some meager items here. BBM going to pull the ultimate back. Hoodrich's going to heal. He's got the ultimate stolen from Echo, and he can ult back. He will do so to save a bit of health. So a decent trade for Hoodrich. Will be quite good overall in terms of a health lead, but doesn't result in a kill.
Hoodrich does have to be careful, though. The Ignite is up in the next couple of seconds.
Well, Heimerdoodle here as well. Blue Jay going to find the flag and dragging a lot of damage onto the Echo. They're actually going to find the kill into him, and now Heimerdoodle's going to get one back on a Blue Jay, but Hoodrich might get him a double kill and a shutdown there for the side of the Imperial Knights. Their mid laner coming back and helping them out of a really tough spot.
Kills like that are very important on the Sylas. This is the key member for the scaling of Imperial Knights Black, and getting those 2 early kills and the shutdown, especially on the Elise, is going to be so important. And getting his items, he only has this Dark Seal, which he just bought in desperation to buy something to get back into this lane, but now he's got 4 glory stacks. Let's see what else he buys. It is going to be the pieces of the Proto Belt, so that's a really good look for a Sylas. As a Sylas player myself, getting those 2 items on your first base feel really good.
Yeah, plating taken there in the bot lane for Team Fish Taco, but when you look at the items, Echo has Hextech Revolver and Boots, and then Hextech Revolver and Kittle Gem definitely feels much better for the Sylas, so a big lead in mid lane despite actually getting solo killed early on here. Dragon will go over to the side of Team Fish Taco, though. Going to pick that one up pretty early. Not the earliest, obviously, but 7 minutes isn't bad at all. And, you know, thanks to that bot lane priority, pretty easy to grab there. And now, looks like Heimerdoodle actually going to steal away that crop. So getting aggressive again, and now Blue Jay still level 5. No ultimate for him yet.
And the Cloud Drake in the early game is something that is very, very important to get early on, especially when you do have very important ultimates like the Varus ulti and the Echo ulti especially. Getting that cooldown reduction in the early game is a lot more impactful than the other Drakes in the early that give you, what, 2 AD, 3 armor, something like that. The 10% cooldown reduction is a lot more impactful, of course, once you do hit level 6. And that getting picked up by TFT Supreme is going to help out their early to mid game very much.
Yeah, no Udyrs here, so we actually get use out of that dragon. As BBM's trying to flash away, but now going to Chrono Break back to try and buy some time, but he's in a bit of trouble. Believes the last one to get out of there. Blue Jay on the chase, has no ultimate again. He's only level 5. Trying to get that red buff desperately to get some camps, as he's down about 10 CS against the enemy jungler here and a level. Hoodrich, but here, so is Blue Jay, but I don't know if they actually want to contest this. Imperial Knights probably lose. Nope, they're going to go for it. Charge was called in the bot lane. Games of Craft to go out. Wish able to get out of that one with Cleanse. Now the top side of fight breaking out there. And Blue Jay going to go down here. Already the jungler falls in the bot lane once again. Hero putting down some damage, but no kills over just yet. Now Repel going to save the Elise for the moment. Keelan in trouble, flashing away. And actually will get jumped on by Heimerdoodle as he comes out of their Repel, but then a trade back by Hoodrich. He's going to get stunned up in Azuki. Actually, no, won't be able to get the kill. The huge healing from Hoodrich. He's going to go back on a BBM, but misses the chains there. And BBM finally cleans up at the end of the fight. Nicely done there. So not the cleanest of wins, but they do end up winning that 3v3.
Yeah, Hoodrich getting a little greedy there at the end, trying to find the kill with the Abscond Abduct, but not quite find the chain. He does go down in the end. I feel like he could have gotten out with that blast cone, but again, Heimerdoodles came to impress once more. 6 kills now on this Elise. He does not get the Rift Herald quite yet, but they do come out ahead in that fight. This is really, really impressive to see here. This continued aggression by this Elise across multiple different games as well. And I just looked at the scoreboard here. I have to laugh. 5 Doran's Blades for Keelan on the Kled. He's really thrift shopping out here tonight.
That's borderline trolling, I think. If you buy 6, I think that is officially trolling, right? It has to be. I don't know if there's an automatic report for that, but I feel like there has to be at some point here. Is a TP going to come through? Blade the Rune King already completed as well for that Renekton, so it gets pretty comical at this stage when you look at the top laners here. Rift Herald gonna be probably taken here off that TP from Azuki, but not guaranteed, although looks like Blue Jay just gonna walk away this time around, not gonna chance it here. He's level 6, finally got the ultimate, but still a level down on the enemy jungler here, which has been a common theme throughout these last 2 games.
You know, technically, 5 Doran's Blades does have more lifesteal and the same amount of attack damage as the Blade of the Ring King. Technically. It is the same in those 2 stats. The problem is that Keelan does not have 25% attack speed or the active or the passive.
Yeah, well, here comes BBM. He's getting ganked by Blue Jay. Ult back. Chronobreak will get him out of the Cataclysm. Hood Rich now on it, looking for the CC. BBM gonna hop over the wall, but the chains follow him. And Hood Rich may be able to grab this kill. Blue Jay slows BBM. Can he get out? Braum coming in. Ultimate gonna be thrown down, and that's a big slow. Hook gonna miss though. G-Friend hits the wall. Senna not able to grab it, and I think the Echo survived, right?
Oh, Azuki.
Azuki didn't. But Rich now getting jumped on by Heimer Noodles here. Pierre coming in, but he gets knocked up, and a Chrono Break back that was stolen by Hood Rich will not save him. Pierre grabs the kill, but he will fall down shortly afterward. G-Friend finds route here onto Bernard. The auto's coming through, but Blue Jay can't join over the wall. Isn't needed though. G-Friend grabs the kill, so somehow Imperial Knights win the fight on the bottom side, and Azuki kills himself on the turret. So that happened.
I think we've approached the Fiesta zone now. Kills are just going left and right here, all across the map. Azuki does, however, pick up another turret in the top lane, though. 2 turrets already down before plates even drop, well before plates even drop. So Azuki with his Blade of the Ring King definitely doing some work up there against the Doran's Blades of Keelan, but going down to the turret, not the best look, I gotta say. And again, not the best look in the bot lane either. Imperial Knights Black able to pick up a number of kills. I think that number is 3. They might lose this streak though, but again, like I was talking about in the previous game, when you are ahead in the game, you do not want to be trading things at all. You want to get the benefit of winning out on your pressure plays. Again, I have to laugh. This is the 3rd Ocean Soul in 3 games.
Well, I mean, I guess we have a green thumb here at the Sugar Free League. Or maybe it's me and you, Smacks. I don't know. I'm not a very good gardener, but perhaps you are, and that's why we're getting them.
Sponsored by FlyQuest, I
This
guess?
certainly seems like it would be good to sponsor. It'd be good for FlyQuest to sponsor us. So just a quick desperation ask, which will never come true, but
if you're
perhaps.
listening,
yeah, FlyQuest social media intern is listening right now. He's definitely gonna pick this up for sure.
Absolutely. Nice hook comes down.
Yeah, and actually a fight breaking out here in the bot side. Piero actually taking a lot of damage. Wish throwing down the autos, but G-Friend Kimmy's just walking forward, absorbing a lot of damage. Backbone Ignite with the help of the arrows will do it. Piero gonna find the kill. Wish now in a bit of trouble here and stunned up and taken down. A nice kill there for the Echo to clean that one up. And now Heimer Doodle's going in, finds Blue Jay. The Kayak is not gonna keep him in for long as he flashes out, and now the stolen repel from Hoodrich will allow him to get onto Heimer Noodles. But Heimer Noodles trading back. It's 2 spiders, but Hoodrich able to get it in the end. Somehow, well, I know how. Silas has a lot of healing, able to win that 1v1.
Azuki in the meantime, though, going for the turret dive.
Yeah, he's gonna get some help from his teammates potentially as they're going to try and push the bot lane. But Azuki now in a 1v3 situation after picking up 1 kill. He'll be taken out. Hoodrich out of nowhere comes in and gets another kill. But a turret taken in the bot side in exchange. So a trade, I guess, which isn't ideal, but they still get something, and Hoodrich also gets a kill. Or rather, Azuki gets a kill.
Yeah, another set of kills here for Hoodrich on the scaling Silas. And this is a champion that can become very menacing to go up against here for Team Fishtaka Supreme. They do get another turret, and they get another one in the mid lane very low, but again, the trades are not what you want. You do not want this Silas that's scaling up to be getting all these kills.
Definitely do not want him to be getting those kills. 5, 3, and 2 on the last chapter, as well as that Proto Belt and Boots. And, you know, you look at the other carries. I mean, Echo's doing well. Varus is doing really well. just everyone right now is doing quite well on the side of Team Fish Taco, but that scaling Senna hasn't really done much yet, but she will eventually. I mean, that's the point of, you know, scaling. But the Silas coming in, he's so important. You can't just stack armor against this team. You know, he's so scary. So it looks really good right now for Team Fish Taco, but like last game, they have to continue to put the pressure on, otherwise things can fall apart. Here's Keelan, found Heimer Noodles. Bear Trap and a rope will not be able to pull the spider back, though, as the repel gets her away, and Keelan not able to give chase there. Ultimate was available, but didn't look like he wanted to pull the trigger. Now in the mid lane. Yeah, the captain comes down. Blue Jay gonna have to flag and drag back out, though. Good stopwatch there from the Braum, buying a lot of time, and Piero was just untouched.
Very nice stopwatch by Bernard to keep himself alive right there. Something that I saw during the middle of that fight that I think is, again, rather funny is the dagger in the inventory of Wish. Now, Senna is one of the... She's probably in the bottom 5 in terms of champions that can utilize the attack speed stat. It does virtually nothing for her, and the dagger in the inventory of Wish is incredibly worrisome for me.
Which is worse, buying attack speed on a Senna or going crit Zillion?
I think it's attack speed Senna. Because on crit Zillion, you can actually utilize the stat sometimes. I don't think the stat does anything on Senna.
Very, very little here. Rift Herald getting taken now by... Well, hold on. Hold that thought. Team Fish Taco on the run. Imperial Knights coming in. They found the Braum, flashing away. Still gets pulled by a Bear Trap on a rope, and Wish will find that kill. So Braum down. It's a 5v4 now, but the Renekton on the split push in mid lane. Imperial Knights getting harassed a little bit there by BBM, but now coming back, and Piero's in trouble. He gets hooked up and taken down. Shut down there for the Silas. BBM on the run. He will be able to survive. Renekton split pushing, so BBM maybe wanted to stop some of the backs, potentially harass the team here, as Renekton still looking to take that mid lane inner turret. Silas on the way back to try and stop him. Keelan now onto BBM. He's got the Chrono Bake available. Time Regional's there to back it up as well, and Renekton on the run, so Rift Shield should go over to Imperial Knights.
Imperial Knights continuing to find their way back at this game. Really nice engage by Keelan, getting in there on the Kled. Chain of Corruption stolen by the Silas, able to lock down 2 members. However, they might lose this Drake, and it is the 3rd Drake of the game that would be going over to TFT Supreme. And like I was talking about in the previous game, and the one before that actually, it's just a theme of this series, I guess. The Drake Soul makes it so, even if you're an early game team, you can still outscale your opponents. So Imperial Knights Black, you have to be very concerned about the next 5 minutes here when that objective does become available to the Fish Taco squad.
And, you know, looking at that, it was nothing really lost because they had 3 champions with dashes out over the wall. They didn't have to use any cooldowns to get out over, any meaningful cooldowns anyway, to get out over there. So they just basically got the dragon. Which, considering that they lost the fight on the top side, is a really good trade. You know, basically a couple kills and a Rift Herald for the dragon that puts you on soul point seems pretty good to me at this stage in the game for Team Fish Taco. At least salvaging something of a bad situation there for them. And, you know, this Silas getting very scary on 2 items now. The Senna starting to scale up and getting close to that point where she wants to start farming. So that's going to be very scary, but they still have a little bit of wiggle room to try and close this game out.
I certainly do here. They still have a very significant lead in the top lane. Again, here, Azuki just completely dominating the 1v1. He's got 2 items on the Renekton to the components of the Black Cleaver of Keelan. He sold 2 of the D-Blades.
Yeah,
so,
kind of sad, to be honest. I wanted the 6 D-Blades, but not going to happen.
Maybe he'll be dead as the Nexus is taken on either side, and he'll sell all of his items and buy the D-Blades back. Maybe we can have that in the end game screen. That would be pretty nice. Shout out to us.
Which is better, 6 Moby boots or 6 tiers?
I am partial to the 6 tiers. I think, well, especially if you lose the game, because then you know you got the implication that you're trying to loss.
Well, here we go. BBM in a 1v1 against Hoodrich. Chrono break back. Hoodrich with the Ignite ticking on. I'm going to miss the chains. And now Braum coming in to support BBM, who's taking a lot of damage, but Hoodrich not able to quite close the kill. Chrono break back that he stole. No flash available for the Echo anymore. Hoodrich has his, but so much healing isn't enough. And the 1v3 still going to go down here. Now Azuki and Heimer Noodles in a 2v4. Azuki going to find one kill. His jungler goes down in the meantime, though the Spider gone. Still 1v3 for Azuki, trying to desperately outkill the damage. Flashing away, and maybe he can get out of this one, but G-Friend Kimmy, cooldown's coming back up soon. Flag and drag there, shut down, and this time it'll be Blue Jay picking up that kill. Kind of an awkward split map scenario, but a couple kills traded there.
It is a 2-for-2 trade across the map. It seems like, again, TFT going for these trades across the map, going for a little bit of the coin flip situation, and as the team in the lead, that is definitely not the situation you want. You want as clean of plays as possible, and this is why the renowned coach that we were talking about before, LS, does call early game comps that don't have a late game win con the sinner comps, because you have to play so perfectly in order to close out the game, because eventually you do get outscaled if you even mess up a couple of plays, and it seems like TFT are approaching that territory, although the Drake Soul is up in the next minute and a half, so maybe they can pressure that objective here. But Rift Herald's still available for Blue Jay. Maybe a turret can be taken. Hopefully he knows that it's about to expire and he drops it soon, as there's the indicator. There is a visual indicator for it. Maybe he drops it now.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe not the best place to go for it. It's a little bit backwards there, but Jelly will have a little bit of a journey of where she can get her first charge off here. I don't believe a full charge or a charge with full health here gets the entire turret, but a couple autos should do it afterwards. Although very good defense kills it, and the timing with the wave wasn't great. So Ref Terrell gets damage, but no turret.
Not quite anything there, and they're not even going to get any pressure onto this Drake objective with it either, as it is up in about 50 seconds. So not going to pull anyone around the map, although
two lands, but nicely buffered here. Keelan's going to get out for now, as in the front line, Azuki going to go down to Hoodrich. Here, not able to put out much damage at all. Blue Jay with his zonings in back line is great. And now in the front line, a 3-man cataclysm for Blue Jay. Really nice job charging to bring Keelan back onto the back line for Piero. Going to grab the Grom as well. It looks like Imperial Knights might be winning this one. BBM, though, still has a lot of health. He might be able to take down Keelan here, although the Senna comes in with her ultimate, doing a lot of damage. Now, BBM is in a 3v1 situation. Make that a 2v0 as a triple kill for Keelan. Don't know how that happened, but somehow the 1-3-8 Kled went 4-3-8. I don't know how that happened, but it happened.
Yeah, he just ran around the fight, picking off members one by one there on the Kled, and it worked out in the end. It seems like Imperial Knights are going to be able to burn down this mid turret and perhaps even the Drake. No smites available. Mizuki is making a beeline over there. He even has to teleport if he wants to make it there quicker, but it does appear like the Drake is going to be taken by Imperial Knights, and the fight as well. 5 for 3. They are now winning these fights, and while it was very scattered, and I think TFT do still have a chance to win the next fights, it's a very bad sign for them, and again, they could be outscaled very soon.
It's another 5 minutes before they potentially even get the soul too, which is more concerning news for them. Then you factor in, the Senna starting to get strong, and the Kled also has become somewhat relevant now. That's definitely getting very, very scary. So they still have the potential of the soul, but it's going to be even more delayed, and they can't leverage that. And now Baron seems like it's pretty hard to take at this point, without the potential of winning a team fight, and with the soul, obviously that's less likely. So definitely seems that things are compounding on themselves and really making this quite difficult. Quite difficult for Team Bishtaco to find a win, given the scenario here. But obviously far from over here. Azuki's still very, very strong, up like 40 CS over his opponent here. And, generally a strong team for Team Bishtaco, but just last fight didn't really go their way. And this is also this point in the game where you talked about earlier when we weren't live. The on-hit Varus would be way more useful than the poke Varus here, the lethality Varus.
It absolutely would here, as Moon lands on the minion there, and I'm just trying to find the engage, but especially against this Kled here, just holding as maybe an engage is coming through, but the Doran's Blade market is dwindling very quickly here for Keelan, which is bad news for us as spectators, because we want to see more Doran's Blades for sure, but good news for Keelan, because it means he has more gold to fund his actual items. As he may lose his turret, though.
Gonna get chased by Azuki here, but not really potential to find the kill there, and just gonna have to back off. They get the turret in the meantime, but they really can't threaten the base here. although nothing was gained back on the other side for Imperial Knights. So just, I guess, overall, just a positive play as a Cocoon flash in by Blue Jay. Great sidestep, and stopping from getting stunned up there. And second turn goes over. So actually a good little couple seconds there for Team Fish Taco as they got 2 turrets, 2 inner turrets at that, which isn't bad here at 25 minutes. Not the worst thing in the world to pick up.
Yeah, Flash Cocoon not quite landing there for TFT, but they do pick up their 6th turret of the game. No more inner or outer turrets taken, available to be taken by them, as they just picked up all that standing gold. Now, with all of that taken, it is just really on TFT to win these fights, because you're not going to be handed an inhibitor turret for free, unless it is in a side lane like Azuki had in the previous game. But they don't even have Baron, so I don't imagine that is going to happen here again for Imperial Knights. They being TFT, are going to need to step on the gas very soon.
Hoodrich, okay. I always find that funny when you like you basically damage them, but they still get the recall off there. So Hoodrich a little bit disappointed if he can find the Echo before he got back. But Echo does have the stopwatch available, so that'll be big for the next fights. Sonya's as well for the Elise, so some nice items coming through there for potential big team fight changing moments if they can get that stasis off. But a ward going to be cleared here in the Dragon, or Baron pit by Wish, as he started to farm. Up to 36 farm now, and is stacking those souls nicely. So the Senna's starting to become very, very scary as she's on 2 items. And now,
did you see that? Did you see that bug just now?
What?
I've been noticing that. So, with the Umbral Glaive, if you attack a plant, a fruit plant in specific, it will completely expire the fruit immediately, and you can't pick up any of them.
well, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't ask why, but I found this out while playing Umbral Glaive Caitlyn.
I won't ask. I won't ask.
I thank you for not asking.
Heimer Noodles in trouble, though. He gets pulled back by the bear trap on a rope, and Azuki's running the opposite way. I'm not sure where he's going, but the spider will probably die after this stasis. Hold on a moment. And there she goes. The least gone, and now Azuki's making his way down towards the enemy's side of the map. I think he's going to pressure the in-hit turret. I don't know. He's kind of getting cut off by 3 people, though, so now he's just sitting in a brush. I'm not sure. Azuki's on the run, guys. He's on the run.
Yeah, they know about him, so I don't know where else he's got to go. Maybe over the wall.
He's got a dash. Bear trap on the rope expired, and now Blue giving chase. But Azuki's apparently a much smarter play than I am. He got away. I don't know how it happened, but he got away.
Yeah, and he's in position for the Drake as well. It's spawning in about 10 seconds.
This is the biggest brain play I've ever seen. Azuki's a mastermind of this game. Blue now face checking into this brush. There is a ward there, which he clearly found out. But now we have that Drake play. The Heimer Noodles is not here yet. He's running out of base, but it should be a 5v5 for this Drake. Will be Soul King is talking again. Here comes the engage. 4 Heimer Noodles there. It's a 5v4. Keelan won't be able to pull back Azuki here, but a big stun by the Echo. Catching though is bigger on the backside. Azuki has to flash out. So does the Braum here. BBM with the Sony's in the front line, trying to hop away here. No ultimate left for him. We'll be able to get away though. Hoodrich not able to find the chains on him. Heimer Noodles on the opposite side. Pinching Imperial Knights in, but he doesn't have a lot of pressure there. Azuki going back in, but a flag direct from Blue finds a bit of damage here. Now Woodrich going in, looking for the kill onto the Braum. We'll be able to get it here. Flash away from Pierre. He'll stay alive. Keelan in chase, on the chase here as G-Friend flashing over, finds the root. Keelan just barely survives, and Hoodrich finds Piero, and this looks to be a team fight loss here for Team Fish Taco. 2 members left. They might be able to steal the Baron here. Smite available for that Spider, but there is a ward on her. Hoodrich takes the blast cone over. And now Heimer Noodle's going to spot out the ward. They're in a bit of trouble here. G-Fred low on mana, but Hoodrich giving chase onto BDM, and Heimer Noodles trying to break back, and they get the Dragon, 9 the soul, and now 19-20 in kill score. They're down in gold, but Imperial Knights definitely in control of this one.
And again, Imperial Knights with the teamfight win around the Drake. They just have this really nice setup here for themselves. The Silas in the line here with the Jarvan and the Senna means that they just have so much sustain here. You saw in the initial engage at a TFT, no one died on Imperial Knights because the team was just so bulky and so healthy as well with all the healing coming down. So just really nice setup here for Imperial Knights Black. They're able to pick up another Ocean Drake. And now, seems like all of them are moving up to the top side because the next objective on the map is this Baron. And again, Imperial Knights are wanting to take down these turrets. They only have one of them. It is the mid lane turret, but TFT, they have nothing better to do at all than go for this Baron. And if they're losing the 5v5s, then I got bad news for TFT. They might end up losing their Nexus eventually as well.
All right, well, Baron the next objective. The blue wards there getting cleared out, and the Scarlet Crab as well. So that's going to delay potential monopoly on vision for Imperial Knights, but they're trying to get all these blue wards out so they can get control of this top set here. But here comes the engaged hero into the trouble. Jasmine comes down and finds the bot lane here up to Taco, and that looks to be a death sentence for them. There's no Thresh, but a double kill for a support. G-Friend able to get both last hits, which...
the Nautilus double kill out of all of those people.
I don't know how that happens. It's like,
Yeah,
he has the least damage available.
The teleport coming in to make sure BBM does not get the inhib turret as well. Really nice stuff out of Imperial Knights, but they have to be careful.
Noodle's going to get hooked here by G-Friend, and down he goes. That means any steal hope on this Baron is gone for Team Fish Taco unless, I don't know, Zuki's already blown my mind with that escape. Maybe he can do something again here. BBM coming in as well. It'll be a 2v4 and then a 2v5 once the Kled joins on the chase of BBM here. Hoodrich going over the wall, misses the hop onto BBM. The Baron getting low, 4,000 HP, but now BBM going to hop over the wall once again. Phase dive, keeping him alive for now, 2,500 health. This might going to come in soon from Blue. Can he get it? He will. BBM just going to run away alongside Azuki, so all 5 members can maybe make escape, but actually they're canceling the recalls. Good harass here from Team Fish Taco. BBM going to get caught here. Good Zonias. Can he use the Chronovig to get out? Will not be able to. Oh, no, he does get over the wall somehow. Hoodrich giving chase, but once again misses the second part of that E and won't be able to find the kill.
Incredible that he got out of there, honestly, but not incredible for TFT that they did end up losing that Baron here. They are in dire straits at this point. They have now lost the gold lead against a team that they do not outscale, and they have been denied the Drake Soul as well, the past 2 Drakes. So they're going to need to make a miracle happen here at this Drake Soul point for them. Otherwise, I don't even know if we're going to be seeing a Drake Soul, because Imperial Knights might just be able to close this one out very, very soon. They do have this Baron, but they do have to get through all of the turrets, which is a good thing for TFT. They do have this massive buffer that they were able to accrue here, as they have 6 turrets, and Imperial Knights only have the 1.
All right, well, 32 minutes in, almost 33 now, and a 600k or 600 gold lead for Imperial Knights Black, which doesn't seem big at this stage of the game, right? 33 minutes in, 600 gold, that's nothing, but the way the scaling has gone, it seems Imperial Knights have a massive advantage at this stage in the game, especially given the builds that have come through for the 80 carry position Piero, who went for a more mid-game focus kind of style instead of the on-hit team fighting focus build here. Blue's actually going to hop in by Hammer. The Blue's actually up a level, which is not something I've been able to say for a long time in this series, but Hammer Noodles is down a level to Blue Jay. And the Baron minion coming through. It's just a 5-man siege from Imperial Knights here. Nothing fancy about this. They're just brute forcing it down mid lane. Potentially Echo going in, but decided better not do it just yet. Here comes the Chain Disruption. Feeling going to get out of it though, and now Blue Jay going in. Doesn't go for the casual just yet, and Gargoyle Stoneplate going to buy him a lot of time as he backs out. A disengage there. Dragon coming up in about 20 seconds here. That may be the turn off here for Imperial Knights. As now retaking their jungle is Team Fish Taco. And more posturing, but no one going in just yet.
But Batan is bringing up a good point. Piero on the Lethality Varus is building toward a Rage Blade. Oh no.
Well, he's calling an audible. He's going for the late game. But if this game goes another 20 minutes, he could just change his entire build, right? As oh no, Blue Jay, good flash away, but face check that brush and ate a cocoon. Now a dragon about half health here. And Zuki already used that Dominus. BBM over the wall. Maybe the engagement come through here from Team Fish Taco. And well, it isn't looking so good so far here. The 80 carry isn't able to hit anyone. Piero now finally gets some damage done onto Blue Jay. He'll go down in the Cataclysm, but Azuki and BBM caught in the pit. Zuki able to get out, but BBM in trouble here. Finally getting support from his team. but Dragon gonna go over. Actually, no, Heimerduel stole the Ocean Drake. That's huge. They've got the soul. Hero now trying to run away, but he's against 4 people up there. Drops rope, pulls him back, and Keelan gonna grab the kill. A double for Hoodrich in the end, who actually gets the Varus credit. But they get soul, but not the fight.
They get the soul though, so when they spawn, they might be able to take a fight now on TFT, but
there's no Baron, but 30-second timers here on Team Fish Taco. Inhibitor turret gonna fall. The inhibitor should soon follow here. Will it be enough though? I'm not entirely sure.
Oh man.
Here we go. No Baron. The minions are coming in, so there's gonna be 2 minion waves trying to stop this eventual end push here from Imperial Knights. Suzuki trying to clear out the way here with the help of his support. Nexus turret number 2 goes down, and now the Nexus is open. This might be it. The Nexus exposed, and 4 members strong here from Imperial Knights will take the series 3-2, or 2-1 rather. Imperial Knights go home with the win after losing game number 2, but right the ship and come back, ending the series in their favor.
You know, with the level of intensity and the closeness of this series, I can't blame you for thinking it was 5 games, man. That was a really close one. This is the closest one that I've seen so far this season of SFL, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed by both teams. I gotta say, the early game was really nice from TFT in all 3 of the games, but they just couldn't close it out in all of them. Only the one, and yeah, they were very close to getting that Ocean Soul the first few times, but. Like I was saying the whole series, man, you can't go for these trades against teams, and TFT just didn't listen. They ended up trading the Ocean Soul for their 3rd Nexus, and unfortunately for them, the Nexus is the thing that you need to keep alive if you want to win. And they do go home with a loss again here. That does bolster up Imperial Knights to 1-1, and they take the win tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Silas you said need to be the consistent damage source. 32,000 damage. That was definitely important, and the Senna did her job, but the Silas with the damage really came up big there. And somehow the Kled also riding the ship. I don't really understand how that worked out. We didn't get the 5 Doran's Blade at the end of the game, unfortunately.
We did have one of them.
We did have one of them, but he ended the game 6-3, which seemed inconceivable given the way that started there. And you know, again, they're connecting 3-5. It was just such a weird top lane. 5 Doran's Blades is apparently OP. I did not know that.
Yeah, it seems like Keelan knows something that we don't, but I believe we can ask him about it, right? Are we doing an interview with them?
Yeah, we're gonna take a short break just so we make sure they're ready in the call, and then hopefully we'll get an interview with the winning team here. So stick around. We'll be back in just a second, and hopefully we'll have the winning team. We'll see if they're available or if they've already gone to bed. So stick around, and hopefully we'll be back in just a couple seconds. With the winning side here, Imperial Knights, how are you guys feeling?
Woo.
Okay, that was really convincing. That was really convincing. I'm honestly disappointed by that. Smacks, just I can't.
That was the test run. We didn't go live yet, right?
No, this is live. So you guys screwed it up. You guys screwed it up.
Really? Yeah. You ruined everything, Imperial Knights. But you did not ruin the series here, winning that one 2-1 here against TFT. I believe this is your first win in the 2 matches, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, well done, guys. Picking up the win. Of course, you guys had the scaling team in all 3 of them. The early game definitely fell out of you guys' hands a couple of times there, but sticking it out to the end here in Game 3 and Game 1 as well. How do you guys feel about how you guys have played this series?
All right, Brad. Winnable.
Yeah,
Keep
Brad
the
just
mental
kept saying
up.
winnable.
Better mental wins.
I
guess
agree.
so.
Brad is the man. Here's the cheerleader.
Woo.
The mental scaling is really what came in clutch here for you guys. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, the mental was so important because they were like crushing me in the top lane the second and third game, and that was not fun at all. I wasn't saying I was in the best mood, but I kept it together enough to play with the team, and it worked out.
Yeah, you weren't quite in a 6 Doran's Blades mood, but the 5 Doran's Blades.
No, you need the boots. You need the boots.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, on the edge there of despair in the Kled. Definitely a tough duo to go up against here, the Elise Renekton. You guys did not ban it away in the third game. Is this just because you don't value your top laner's mental as much as everyone else, or you actually think that you could outscale it like you did?
No, we
think we
kind of
do.
had set bands, Like we just had a couple of bands that we were set on, and we didn't really want to change that up.
Oh, was that not a pun? Because you banned set.
It may be a pun.
Okay.
I think like they picked a lot of early game, and so we knew if we could just weather the storm a little bit and chop through, we could definitely pull through. We just knew they were going to smash us early, just like off pick ban, and then we saw Echo had Ignite, and Brad realized that they're going to have the wave pushed into us the whole game, and so it was just like, we have 3 lanes that are pushing against us and we're going to get smashed early. We knew we were going to give up the early objective. So I think that really kept us in check mental. Like, we're all talking about the mental game and keeping it in. And, halfway through the game when I'm like, 0-4-1 and, Brad's just like, no, this is winnable. We can do it. So I'm like asking, so, what's the next step? Like, what can we do here? And we're just like, just keep farming up. We'll start grouping up, have that Kled ultimate coming down, and we're going to win this game.
Good to hear, man, and especially good to hear that Brad is the one playing these scaling champions that you do need to have that scaling mentality on as well as the Zir in the first 2 games, and then the Silas to close it out as well. Silas one of those champions that is he just heals so much in the combat that you have to pay him some mind, but it just cannot burst you down at the end. So really nice stuff. Have you been playing this Silas a whole lot as a team, or is this just
First
an
time.
adaptation? First time.
First time silent.
First time.
Okay.
0 games ever.
Well, I'm impressed, man. You pulled it off. Of course, the solo kill, not the brightest moment, but
Hey,
yeah, just
I don't-
working
I
out
don't
the
talk
pixel, learning
about
the
you getting
champion as
solo
it goes,
killed.
like Meteos.
I don't talk about you getting solo killed over here. All right,
Okay.
chill out.
Yeah, I've got
I
a
guess so.
question. I've got a question for the support. How the hell did you get a double kill on Nautilus when you guys got that pick in mid? Like, how did that happen? I don't understand.
Which wave?
When you
When you guys were engaging as 5, and you had all 5 members hitting, and then the Nautilus gets double kill.
like how does that happen? You do like 100 damage there and you get both kills. Like, what the hell?
I mean, just lucky, I guess.
No, that's what we drafted. We drafted Nautilus carry, right? Fast and simple.
Yeah,
Nautilus
Nautilus has
Fast
an
and
arm in the
Nautilus.
bot lane. He's already used to last hitting, so just brought you.
True. I guess that's just everyone else is fasting as well, not just the Senna in terms of the kills there. So yeah, very impressive stuff, especially healing on the Doran's blades.
Oh, dude, those things are beautiful. You should see my collection.
Yeah. I did see your collection. It was pretty incredible.
I asked Smax, which is better, 6 tiers or 6 Moby boots at the end of the game?
Holy.
Oh, tears.
Tiers, 6 tiers. Smax
Tiers
said
all the
6
way.
tiers.
Because it's
Yeah,
like
I
QQ.
said
It's
tears.
like really sad.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
said too. It's like you're crying. Anyway.
All right. Any
So-
trash talk before we go? Anything to say?
2 to 20.
All right, Smax. Anything else to add before we go? Any other questions?
I just have one more thing. So you guys are playing against Oasis Revenant in your next match next Saturday. How are you guys feeling going into that match after picking this one up against TFT?
My brain don't work. Don't ask us that question.
All right.
live in
Well,
the moment.
hopefully it starts working a week from today.
I hope so too.
Just hit it a
Alright.
couple times. That helps.
Yeah, of course.
Turn it on and
All right,
off.
yeah,
That works.
That's all I got from me.
All right, thank you guys for doing the interview. Good luck next week against Oasis, and yeah, thanks for playing. GG, well played, and we'll hope. I don't think we see you guys next week, but good luck in that one.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yay!
Okay, so nice job on the cast tonight, Smacks. Good job, and thanks for joining me. Anything else to add before we head out? Any plugs? Anything?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be back on the caster roster here for SFL this split. I've got a lot of teams that I'm very excited for. Unfortunately, I'm a big fan of BBM. I really liked his Oriana, but couldn't clutch it out today, even after that solo kill on Echo. So you hate to see it. Shout out to BBM. But yeah, thanks for having me here. I appreciate it. I'm always happy to be casting here for SFL and the league and everything. So this has not been the last of me in this league this season.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us, Smacks. You can find his Twitter account on the next page when we go to that. Go to that ending screen. So thank you guys for watching. You can find me, I'm Not Kios, there as well by my Twitter handle. I'm named the same everything. Named the same every. Okay, my tongue decided to stop working. I'm named the same everything everywhere. So yeah, my brain's apparently my brain doesn't work either. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys probably next week, Friday, Saturday. Thanks for watching. 2-1 Imperial Knights take it, and GG, well played. And Team Fish Taco, while you did not win this series, I think you have the best name and the best logo in the league. I will say that. I really like it. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.